had some horse betting guys that were on the coverage, like breaking it down, like each horse, and some of the apps I was looking at had like different like things about each horse and how they've been doing in previous races or on like certain tracks and stuff like that. And like they had percentages of like top 3 and win percentage, and like Sovereignty was like 80% top 3 in his, I think, like 12 races.
Yeah.
So I also kind of liked to go like when they went like against like a bigger race, like 10 to 12-ish area.
Yeah.
Because like you're kind of, I know it's not 20, but you're still going against a bunch of other horses instead of like that, like against 5 or something like that.
My research usually consists of, although when it's raining or something, I like to look a little bit to see who's a good mutter, who had a nice mutter for a mutter. You know what I mean? The old Seinfeld episode.
Did I see every horse yesterday at Lineage, the Secretariat?
I usually take the word of Eddie Olczyk.
Okay.
Because
he knows.
When I hit it big that one time, it's because of him. And ever since then, I've kind of gone Eddie Olczyk, but with a little bit of a different wave, and it didn't work out for me yesterday at all.
I want everyone to understand that when we're talking about this, not that we're going to do a lot of talk about it, this might be the only time we mentioned it, we are saying horses. Now, you guys haven't messed it up yet, but I know that sometimes if we say it fast, it sounds like something different than horses that starts with a W that I'm not going to say because it's a family show.
Really? I don't think anybody was really thinking that.
I think it all the time because I've said it before on the air. I said it the wrong way.
Well, you do talk very fast sometimes.
I do. Absolutely, I do. We got a big show lined up for you today, by the way. We're going to have Mekka Don on at 12:30. John Gerber, our golf betting expert, at 1:15. Dan Hope from 11 Warriors at 1:30. Nick Myers, head coach of Ohio State's men's lacrosse team, at 2:30. They just won their first Big Ten tournament championship. They won 14-10 over Maryland yesterday. Big Tasty Caleb Fiack had 19 saves for the Buckeyes, named most outstanding player of the game. The Buckeyes get the automatic bid to the 18-team NCAA Tournament. Tournament draw announced tonight at 9:30. And for those of you keeping score at home, this is the first time we've ever started a show off with the first two topics being horse racing and college lacrosse. So it's a banner day.
That was an inspiring game to watch last night. Did you watch any of it?
I did not watch a single moment of it.
It was and of course they won on Michigan's field, which I think for Ohio State fans makes it even sweeter. But Big Tasty is the real deal, baby.
Yep, 6'2", 287. No, I couldn't. Yesterday I had my daughter turned 11 and my son had his first communion. So we were jam-packed throughout the day. So we did we had some people in town. My wife's best friend came in town from Dallas. And we had the first communion and all that, partied at our house afterwards, and took my daughter out. We took her and a friend out for dinner for her birthday. So we were jam-packed. I didn't get to watch any of the Derby. Didn't really get to follow much. But we got all that stuff coming up today on the show. Reds lost at home 11-6 to the Nationals. They'll play at 4:10 today. We'll have that coverage right here on the Fan. Guardians beat the Blue Jays 5-3. They will play north of the border at 1:37 today. The Nuggets won Game 7 over the Clippers, 120-101. Denver advances to face top seed OKC. Tonight at 8:30, Warriors in Houston for a Game 7 against the Rockets. Winner plays the 6th seed, Minnesota. Indiana's at Cleveland to Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals, at 6 o'clock. NHL, Dallas defeated Colorado 4-2. They overcame a 2-goal deficit, scoring 4 straight goals in the final 12-11 of the game. And then tonight at 7, we've got St. Louis and Winnipeg Game 7 in the NHL as well. Those are always the best. But so you watched the Derby yesterday, Tim?
Yes.
And but my whole thing is, for me, we had a guy at the Dispatch for a long time. His name was Brad Schmaltz, covered horse racing, and I used to get tips from him. He is no longer with the Dispatch, as most of us aren't. Most of us are not. Yeah. And so
he's in the majority.
He does not pay attention to as much as he used to. So, but I used to always just ask him, what do I do? And he would tell me what to do, and then that is what I would do. But since he doesn't follow nearly as close, I think he lives out in Kansas City now, but I do not, he does not follow the way he did, so I don't have any kind of insider knowledge on that one. So, but I don't bet it. I just suck at betting horse racing.
Yeah, well, I just like it for that one time. I mean, a year, because it's, the Kentucky Derby's turned into sort of like Talladega 500 or the Daytona 500. It's kind of a crapshoot because there are so many horses involved, and then you throw the weather in there, which was a curveball. And the weather should have affected that race more than it did, because it was. I don't think you would ever call maybe they do, but I don't think you'd ever call Churchill Downs a sloppy track because it's state of the art in terms of drainage and stuff, but they still get that fine line, of top line mud, at the very top, for want of another term, at the top of it. And it's really funny because when the horse won yesterday, his face was all brown. He looked like a bay almost, or a brown horse, and wiped his face off. He has a real nice black, black face. It was really cool, and but he was such a cool horse, Sovereignty, and he was right there with the favorite, Journalism, and from the standpoint of having a shot at, but a lot of times the favorites don't come through because they get caught up in traffic or don't run well in the mud and stuff. That's why I took Citizen Bull, because he was starting on the inside number 1 spot, and I thought he would just get there and stay there. But and he did for a little while, but he ended up being the rabbit,
Yep.
And so anyway, but the bottom line is the race went about like you would think it would, and if all conditions were equal. So it was an interesting race in that respect, because like I said, there's so many things that can happen in a 20-horse field or 19-horse field that can alter the outcome, much like at the Daytona 500. It's literally luck of the draw, the Daytona 500 now, being in the right place at the right time in the last 2 laps and avoiding the big ones. And so, I give it up to Journalism. I thought Journalism, the favorite, ran a great race. He just got run down in the stretch by half a length or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Also, Columbus Crew won against Charlotte yesterday, 4-2 out at lower.com field.
Yeah.
Crew are now in first place in the MLS. They played 11 games, only have 1 loss. They've got 7 wins and 3 draws, so the Crew doing things well. They're ahead of Philadelphia by a couple of points there in the standings. So nice win for the Crew last night in front of more than 20,000 out there at lower.com field. Also, the news this week, Ohio State's men's basketball team scheduled a home-and-home with Notre Dame. They're going to play here this season and South Bend next season. Notre Dame has never played in Columbus against Ohio State. They've never done that. So this will be the first time there. And we don't know any dates yet and that kind of stuff yet, but there's some scheduling things trickling down. Ohio State obviously has Notre Dame. They've got North Carolina on their schedule at the CBS Sports Classic in December. Mm-hmm. And then they also have, they're doing the return game for the home and home against Pitt this year. We'll get dates on that as we get closer to the season. All right, coming up next, Ryan Day spoke this week. We'll listen and react next. This is Fan Sports Sunday on the Fan.
Whatever you're doing right now, just know that Bo Bishop is enjoying a sip of bourbon. Even if this promo is playing in the morning, no judgment.
Ah, sweet morning drinking.
The Fan.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks, and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom Tire buyer.
Exactly.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Sick of the long security lines and flight delays? Travel on your terms. Go RVing and get ready to save at RCD RV's Open House. From May 3rd through the 10th, take advantage of huge deals on new and pre-owned RVs. Our Delaware, Heath, and Patasko locations will feature exclusive sale pricing on all new and pre-owned travel trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes with special financing rates available, plus discounts on camping accessories. Come by today. We'll have your road ready by Memorial Day. Find unbeatable savings, unforgettable fun, and everything you need to hit the road at rcdrv.com.
When it comes to your roofing, siding, or gutter needs, call Newman Roofing, 614-NEW-ROOF, newmanroofing.com.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. I know firsthand what it's like to battle through joint pain. After years of the hard hits and the wear and tear on the field, I thought pain, it was just going to be something I had to live with. Let me tell you, that's no longer the case thanks to QC Kinetics. For over 8 years, QC Kinetics has been leading the charge nationwide in non-surgical joint pain relief, helping over 50,000 patients get back to doing what they love, pain-free. Whether it's your knees, back, hips, shoulders, you pick it. If joint pain's been slowing you down, you need to hear about what Dr. Aaron Walkoff and his team in Columbus are doing. They're using cutting-edge regenerative medicine, natural biologic treatments with powerful healing properties to repair and restore damaged joint tissue. No surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. Just real results. The kind of treatment I wish I had access to during my playing days, and now you do. Imagine this summer playing around a golf, chasing the kids, and just enjoying a walk without the pain. Go to qckinetics.com/Columbus or call 380-2845-44. They now have offices in Grove City and Canal Winchester.
Did you ask about Pick 3 from the Ohio Lottery? Okay. Pick 3 is a daily draw game where you pick 3 individual numbers between 0 and 9 that can be played straight, where numbers must be drawn in an exact order or boxed where they can be drawn in any order. You can win hundreds, and wagers start at only 50 cents. Want to learn more? Okay, go to OhioLottery.com or the Ohio Lottery app. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
When you get ECO to fix your HVAC system,
we give you back all the money you paid us to repair that old system.
When you finally need to buy a new one from us,
up to $1,500.
Get ECO.
ECO.
All those extra years of service for free.
On me.
GetEco.com.
Fish has been named the 3rd best sports program director in the country.
Winner.
The 2 dudes who finished ahead of him are dead. So we're declaring him the winner. You're listening to the home of champions, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. What if you could bank that equity right now? With Truehold, you can sell your home for its current value, so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. Truehold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since Truehold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit Truehold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours, based on its current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Right now, you can save on fresh medium avocados or delicious honey mangoes. Just 69 cents each with your digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
When it's time to ask life's biggest question, make sure your ring says it all. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from The Diamond Seller, and we've been helping couples say yes for over 78 years. From brilliant cuts to better prices, the quality and selection of our diamonds is unmatched. Because diamonds aren't just our business, they're our legacy. Visit us at Diamond Seller on Salmo Road or Easton Town Center and learn more at diamondseller.com. Bigger diamonds, better prices, guaranteed.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Darren White with your 10 weather impact forecast here for our Sunday. We're tracking the chance for a few showers and storms this afternoon with highs into the mid-60s. And then for tonight, the chance of showers and storms early on. Otherwise, cooling down to the upper 40s here overnight. By Monday, we'll see another chance for a few showers and storms, especially for the afternoon with highs into the 60s. And that chance of rain will continue on Tuesday before we finally see drier conditions and more sunshine with highs in the 70s on Wednesday. And that's your 10 weather impact forecast here on 97.1 The Fan.
The 2 most mature people working at the radio station. And that's just because they wear pants.
The pervert and the skivvies.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan. Garnish your Bloody Mary with sports talk. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
Fan Sports Sunday. Tito, Tim May, Reimer. Ryan Day spoke this week. Tim May, of course, was there, so he's got more insight. But I will first play you this sound. This was Ryan Day talking about Bo Atkinson. Here it is.
Very excited about adding Bo. Had an opportunity to spend time with he and his family on their visit. You guys have seen some of the film. We think that it's a great addition to the room. Somebody who has experience, has some real size, and he's excited about being at Ohio State. Great parents. Mom is actually from New Hampshire, where I'm from, so there was a connection there. Both parents went to UConn, but Bo made it very clear that he wanted to play at the highest level. He hit it off with Larry, which Coach Patricia, and so I think it'll be a great addition to our room as we head into the summer.
So I know that he said, he's not going to add people just to add people. He's going to add people that will make the team that were better than what they have.
Right.
That's kind of how he phrased it.
Or at least as good as, yeah.
Do you think that the addition of Atkinson rubbed any of the people on the defensive line the wrong way? Like, do you think there's somebody who said, like, God, I thought I was going to be playing a lot more?
What was it? Frederick Douglass? Who was the guy that said, you should spend most of your life with this three-word motto, which is agitate, agitate, agitate. I mean, I don't think they're worried about agitating anybody one way or the other. Number two, if you can make yourself better, that's right on down the line. I've heard assistant coaches talk about this all the time. You recruit like Zeke Elliott, and then you go and try to recruit somebody better than Zeke Elliott. Right. And so, no, I mean, I don't think they worry. They do worry on whether a guy is going to fit in the culture.
Right.
They do put a big premium on that. But I've always been interested in the fact that even though they put a premium on that, they're still looking at guys that are faster, bigger, and stronger, and can play football first. But Bo Atkinson, man, he fits the bill in all kinds of ways. Plus, they rotate guys on the defensive front.
Yeah.
And when you're playing 16 games like they did last year, you're always looking. You've already experienced that. You could write the book on what that took. Now you know what it takes.
Sure.
You're the only team in America that knows what it takes to play 16 games and win it all. That's a great
point.
I think this is a like they said about defensive tackles. The premium position. And I've said this before, Tito, on this show and many others, because I've been saying it for decades. The premium position that's the toughest to find in football is an A-gap dude, a big A-gap defensive tackle dude. Who also fits all the other things you're looking for, the criteria. And and Ryan was really talking about that when he talked about not just adding people to add people. You want to add people who are at least as good as the guys you've got, because you've already got several guys you're trying to prod into becoming achievers that they haven't been there before, already on the roster and stuff. And so if they can add a premium defensive tackle, then it would be a real win. But whenever you can get a guy like Bo Atkinson who could play pretty much anywhere at defensive end, you go and get him. And so that's what he's talking about.
I feel like, and tell me if you disagree on this one, but if Bo Atkinson's got 2 years of eligibility left.
I think that's right.
Okay, he's got 2 years left. If he plays a second year here, it probably wasn't a great season.
No, not necessarily.
Because I think if he has a great year, he's going to go pro, I would think.
Not necessarily. That doesn't necessarily, because you have a great year here, as we found out in this past draft, which we're going to talk about later, doesn't necessarily translate that the NFL is going to go gaga over you. Number one. Number two, guys have options now to stay in college football from a financial standpoint, which behooves them to maybe get another year like Jack Sawyer did, like JT Tuimoloau did. Worked out pretty good for JT Tuimoloau. Worked out pretty good for Jack Sawyer.
I would say.
Ends up at a program that really, I think, cherishes what he's all about. I'm talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers. But he went a little bit later than some people might have thought. But no, college football is it's a totally different animal than it was 5 years ago, brother.
That's amazing. I know. I can't believe how much has changed. All right, here's Ryan Day talking about the QBs getting better, how they've gotten better.
Yes, I think so. It was very generic looks, but I thought Lincoln missed a couple early, but then got into a rhythm. But other than that part of it, I thought both Lincoln and Julian handled the environment well. I thought they handled the huddle well. I thought they handled everything about that well. That was a step in the right direction. We all know that, again, the looks were very generic and those type of things, but you still got to execute them. So I thought that was good. I think there has been progress made. I think the next couple of months, those guys coming in here and continue to get stronger and faster and getting on the film. Now they have cut-ups that they can watch to grow from. And then, as we all know, the summer will be huge. So, I'm encouraged with what we saw coming out. You can see the talent with Tavian. He just needs more experience, needs more at-bats. And the more he does that, the more he'll be in the mix. But right now, it's a two-horse race.
So, Tim, you mentioned, because you were at the Student Appreciation Day, and you said Julian Sayin looked much better in the spring game than he did in the Student Appreciation Day.
The word I used was I thought he looked uncomfortable in the Student Appreciation Day scrimmage. But there was a lot more going on in that Student Appreciation Day scrimmage than in the spring game from the standpoint of, I mean, there was a lot more going on defensively.
Okay, they were more.
The spring game was
their calls.
Spring game, like Ryan just said, was pretty generic in terms of what they did on defense and really in terms of what they did on offense. And it was just pretty much catch ball, find open guy, throw it to him. And like I said, if that's the Matt Patricia defense, which it's not, you want your money back, right? But no, it's kind of like preseason games in the NFL, and all of a sudden you get to week one and they're doing this exotic stuff you've never even in your mind even thought that could happen on a football field. But the bottom line is, I think Ohio State left spring and is right now, Ryan Day feels comfortable. He's got two guys that can play quarterback. And what level that gets to remains to be seen. Obviously, a huge opener against Texas, which is also filling in a ridiculous number of vacancies from the team they played in January in Dallas. Texas is going to be a different-looking team, including with Arch Manning. Everybody thinks he's a whatever third or fourth coming, whatever you want to call it. Clearly, he'll be the starter, the bona fide starter for the first time, and there will be some growing pains even for him, despite his last name. And so, but I think the key in the spring was to leave spring with two quarterbacks you feel like you can win with. Now, where do you go from there remains to be seen. As I keep pointing out to people, Will Howard was such a different quarterback in December and January than he was in September last year.
Sure.
And October. And that's the progress you want to see with anybody.
Was that more about Will Howard, or was that more about the schemes?
It was all, but it was scheme. You can only, everybody's got schemes. It's more of what can the quarterback handle from a recognition standpoint before, during, and after the snap. What will his arm let him get to in the passing game? Can he run the ball? Will he, after he gets his confidence, become a baller, which means run or throw, whatever it takes to keep the sticks moving? That's what you want to evolve to as a quarterback, playing your game, but in his body, meaning doing whatever it is that he does best when things kind of break down and stuff. And spring game, you didn't really get it. Wasn't a real showcase for the breakdown, now do something about it kind of deal, which is what you get to. If you saw the playoffs, Will Howard was extremely good at buying time, making things happen. That's why Ben Roethlisberger, kind of praised the pick of him, because Ben Roethlisberger, is he known as a great scrambler in history? No.
Not a great scrambler, but
that guy bought more time in the pocket by moving 3 feet than almost anybody in history. But Will Howard had the blessing of also being able to run a little bit. But the point is, you want to get these guys comfortable playing showing them that you can run your offense before you let them kind of do their thing. And it's an interesting dynamic, because I asked Ryan later in the press conference, as a matter of fact, at the end, as you point out.
Yeah, last question.
Just about, you can't necessarily trust that a guy's a gamer, because what does that mean?
Right.
What is a gamer? And he made a good point about that, because he said he did research on that when he was the quarterback coach at the Philadelphia Eagles way back in that one year he was there with Chip Kelly. And Sam Bradford, I think, was the quarterback. And he just, what he found out about gamers was really like a Michael Jordan, a Larry Bird, somebody like that. They really just played their game while all others around them sometimes fell to the side, and didn't step up to the moment. The gamers step up to the moment, but are playing their game. So whatever all that means, I guess we'll find out. But bottom line is, I think, like I said, they left the spring feeling they got two quarterbacks that can run their system, run their program, move on from there.
All right, make sure you stick around, folks. Coming up next, we're going to buckle up. Mekka Don's going to join us for his weekly segment. That's coming up next. This is almost a morning juice there, Ryan.
You did
say it, though. A little early for that.
That was a Freudian.
Yes, it was. When you think of one thing, but you say a mother. Coming up next right here on Fan Sports Sunday.
It's time for the Great Haircut Sale at your local Great Clips salon. Your chance to get a great haircut at an even greater price, just $7.99. And money's not all you'll save at Great Clips. When you use online check-in, you can save time too. So download our app today and hurry in for the $7.99 Great Haircut Sale at Great Clips. It's gonna be great. For a limited time at participating salons.
The $7.99 Great Haircut Sale runs May 3rd through May 9th.
Visit our Columbus area salons.
Get an Eco.
ECO.
Aaron, which brand of air conditioner is the most energy efficient?
It's the one that's had its outside coils cleaned correctly.
Well, I can wash those off with a garden hose, right?
No.
Why not?
Humidity mixes with dust and pollen to create a micro-thin film of sticky paste that gets baked onto those hot outside coils.
And that baked-on stuff keeps my coils from releasing their heat into the atmosphere.
Which means your system has to run longer, which uses a lot more energy and it shortens the life of your air conditioner.
Get Eco.
ECO.
How do I get that baked-on stuff off?
Remove the exterior shroud, then spray the coils from the inside out with a special eco-friendly solvent.
Can I rinse the solvent off with a garden hose?
Yeah, but only from the inside out.
Or I could just pay Eco to do it.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Eco doesn't take shortcuts. We do it the right way every time.
Get Eco professional coil cleaning for just $468.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Sick of the long security lines and flight delays? Travel on your terms. Go RVing and get ready to save at RCD RV's Open House. From May 3rd through the 10th, take advantage of huge deals on new and pre-owned RVs. Our Delaware, Heath, and Pataska locations will feature exclusive sale pricing on all new and pre-owned travel trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes with special financing rates available, plus discounts on camping accessories. Come by today. We'll have your road ready by Memorial Day. Find unbeatable savings, unforgettable fun, and everything you need to hit the road at rcdrv.com.
The only radio show Ryan Day listens to when we're holding him hostage, making him listen to a radio show. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan. Live, local, and still slightly drunk.
I'm not drunk, all right? I just have a speech impediment.
This is Fan Sports Sunday.
It is Fan Sports Sunday. And if you look at your clock, not the clock outside the studio, Ryan, but that one is wrong for some reason. It's like 3 hours off.
It's like John Belushi's watch in
Animal House. Animal House it is. But we're going to do something we always do around this time. Here it is.
Let's get fired up for the Buckeye season. It's time to buckle up with Mekka Don.
Mekka Don, Buckeye Nation. It's time.
Buckle up, buckle up.
We are joined now on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline with Mekka Don. Buckle Up, the Ohio State anthem this year that was played predominantly at their games there throughout the whole season. They won it. Mekka, first of all, good afternoon to you. And I know last time we talked, you had the Buckle Up, the playbook coming out. I'm curious if there's been any change, anything going on with that, anything new you want to announce about it?
Yes. What's up, guys? Good afternoon. Happy Sunday. Yes. So I think I announced last week that I'm releasing a book next month. It's actually going to be released on June 9th. So this is the first time I've told anybody that. I'm always breaking news on your show.
Yes, you are.
Something about you always gets me to spill the beans. But yeah, it's a playbook, 5 winning plays for go-getters. So it's 5 plays, kind of 5 things that have kind of helped me along the way. And I got the foreword by none other than the legend himself, Gene Smith. So wow. I remember last week I hadn't announced who was gonna do it yet, but it's official. He has written the foreword. It is beautiful. I'm so grateful for it. So that'll be coming out next month on Amazon. Super excited about it.
So what you're trying to say, Mekka Don, is that Gene Smith's looking for something to do in retirement. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, I think he just joined the board of Under Armour, so yeah. I think he's got enough on his plate. But
so now he's a Maryland fan. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, but I'm happy he's still active and involved. And Gene has been a great mentor to me over the years, yeah. and a friend, and just I followed his advice and a lot of stuff that he's done. I've just watched his career, and so to be able to even develop that relationship and the trust, and where he would be willing to do something like that for me is really, really awesome.
Yeah, I know one of the podcasts I did, with Tim May show, but one of the ones I did with him one time, I said, it's really funny. Athletic directors and commissioners of leagues are guaranteed anytime they speak in public or whatever, probably to get booed. You know what I mean? Because they're not satisfying somebody's special interest, one way or the other and stuff. Hey, Mekka Don, I mean, just I'm curious about this about you. Instead of just asking about your projects, what I would like to know is, when do you sleep and how much do you sleep?
That's a good question. It's funny. Even when I'm sleeping, I realize I'm not sleeping.
Yeah.
I wake up and I have like 6 new ideas. So
wait a minute. So what do you do then? Because some people keep a pad, by the bed. Some people take their cell phone and dictate something into it. What do you do with that idea?
Yeah, it depends on how good I think it is. But if I think if it's a legit idea, I'm definitely putting it in my notes on my phone, and then I'll try to flesh it out later. But I believe in sleep, by the way. I believe that it's important for just our growth and our development and our health. So I try to get to bed, try to get at least 6-7 hours a night. It doesn't always happen.
Right.
I got 2 young kids, by the way, too. So
right.
That doesn't always help. But I do believe in sleep conceptually. I do believe in it.
Okay, now, Mekka, I want to follow up on that with this thing with, Gene Smith, as we just joked, the fact he's got nothing to do with retirements. Now he's on the board of Under Armour writing forward for you. And he feels like kind of guy will probably never completely retire. Do you ever think you will completely retire?
It's man, it's funny you said that. I was having a conversation with my wife about that last night. I think that I'm always going to I'm an ideas guy, and I also like to create, right? So I think as long as I'm coming up with ideas, which I don't think will ever stop, I don't think I'll ever truly actually retire. I just enjoy being out in the world. I enjoy meeting people. I enjoy creativity. I enjoy kind of just sharing energy. So, I'll retire theoretically, right, to the, where I'm not necessarily having day-to-day responsibilities. But in terms of being involved in kind of the creative ecosystem, I just don't see that ever going away.
Yeah, that old theme song, "This Killing Time is Killing Me." You know what I mean? That's, I retired back second day of of January 2019, and then Letterman Rowe came after me and said whatever, and I grudgingly did it because I was literally going to totally retire Mekka Don, and but like you said, I mean,
I remember,
even when you're retired, I mean, the curious guy like yourself, the curious mind is always going to be thinking of some things. And that's why, I think this documentary you've got coming out, whenever it is, Juneteenth or June 12th.
Don't say the number. Don't say
whenever it's coming.
That wasn't me, Mekka. That wasn't me.
No, I'm just saying, whenever it's coming is what I said. I mean, you can hear the semi truck horn from way down the road. But I would think that has piqued your interest now in, hey, I can do more of these kind of things, right?
Yes, that's yes, Tim, and that's I've always been interested in kind of production from like the film storytelling side. Obviously I've been from a talent perspective, I've been in commercials and movies and stuff like that. But from a production side, I haven't. I've helped produce my own music videos, but in terms of telling stories, that's something that I've always kind of wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is just going through the process in terms of shooting, editing, permits, licensing, all the different things that go into kind of creating has definitely piqued my interest. And then also, I've also created some really cool relationships along the way with Fox and Tubi and Big Ten Network and different things like that. And then now, even the way I watch movies or the way I watch documentaries or shows, even Sinners, I went and watched that last night.
Yeah.
I'm watching it with a totally different eye now. I'm not watching it just as a fan. I'm trying to see different things and learn, okay, what type of lighting did they use here? What type of music did they use?
Where did they get that footage? Where did they get that video?
Right.
You know what I mean? All that kind of, I'm with you, man. I hear you.
Camera angles, all that type of stuff. But I think that storytelling is so important because and one of the things that really excites me about this documentary particularly is me being able to tell my story, right? And I've talked to you guys about this before. A lot of people are like, they've heard of Mekka Don or they know Mekka Don, and they might even be fans of me, but they don't necessarily know other things about me. They don't know I went to DeSales. They don't know I went to law school at NYU. They don't know, some people don't even know I played at Ohio State, that I was a walk-on at Ohio State, so
yeah.
It gives me a chance to kind of tell my story, and I think there are a lot of beautiful stories out there that I would love to tell moving forward.
I'm not laughing at your story. I'm just thinking about Get Shorty, when John Travolta and the guy meet at the top of the stairs, and he goes, "You don't know me. You just think that you do." Remember? That's one of the great lines.
For sure. So that's one of the things about storytelling I think that's amazing is, you get to kind of help people tell their stories the way they want them to be told. And honestly, at the end of the day, we only live so long. And I think, being able to kind of, get your stories out there is one of the most important things.
In
for
every
us
story,
all,
In every story, even documentaries. I mean, there's a point of view involved because that's the reason you got into it. Few documentaries are what I would call totally objective because there's a reason that compelled even the producer to get into the story in the first place. But then you owe it to yourself, right, to take the story to where it leads you, right? Just like with the one you're doing about this 2024 football team.
100%. And I think that also you're so right in the perspective, and that's why I like to have other people interviewed. So, like, we mentioned Lathan Ransom is in it, Denzel Burke is in it, Curtis Grant is in it, talking about 2014 season, right? Different things that happened then with Juice, my song, but also just what they were thinking after they beat Wisconsin, for example, and when they were sitting around watching the college football playoff show. Like, he talks about that. Denzel and Lathan talk about what the locker room was like after the Michigan game. You know what I mean? Like, these are the things that we think we know as fans or we have a perspective on, but when you actually hear it from the source, it also gives a new perspective. So that's the other thing, too. It's I'm telling my story, but also helping other people tell their stories and giving insight into things that people, sports fans generally, Buckeye fans obviously care about. So that's the good thing about this, too. It's yes, it's my story and my lens, but it's also been collaborative and been able to get perspectives from other people.
Hey, real quick shout out to Curtis Grant. I did a Tim May show with him sitting in his new juice bar, smoothie bar up there on High Street. I don't know if you've been to it or not, but
Pure Green, yes sir.
Yeah, Pure Green. He's and he's got things going on, man. He's got he's an ideal man just like you, man. I'm pretty impressed.
Absolutely, I talk to him a lot. Actually, we actually talk probably a couple times a week now, which is funny and it's so interesting. This is one thing about like the Buckeye brotherhood. Curtis and I didn't play together. We didn't really know each other until recently, maybe a year or two ago. We got connected and we just instantly kind of clicked, right? For, like you said, we think very similarly, and now we talk pretty regularly. And it's just a cool thing about kind of being a Buckeye and having those relationships, and those things can last a lifetime.
What a fraternity. Yeah, what a fraternity. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, you guys end up back in Columbus in one form or fashion too, right?
Yeah, well, Columbus is a great city. So take Buckeyes, out of it for a second, which is hard to do, right? But just Buckeyes aside for a second, Columbus is one of the fastest growing cities. It is becoming a tech hub.
Yep.
It is real estate, restaurants, apparel. Like, Columbus is a very, very great city, even outside of Ohio State. So if you're looking for opportunity, it's a really great place to be. Then throw on top of that you're a Buckeye or former Buckeye in Ohio State. Those relationships, oh my gosh, like there's just so much opportunity here. So it's a great place to be.
So, Mekka, you mentioned, the fact you didn't play with Grant, and all that stuff. Another guy you never played with, but has you've grown close to and done some business with him as well. He's one of your better friends, I would say, is Chris Carter, the former Buckeye. Mm-hmm. And I have always, I was 16, I think, when the stuff went down where Chris was ruled ineligible because of his dealings with an agent. That's an incredible story. But then, he goes to the NFL. He also battles alcoholism and is very public about that, and then turns into one of the greatest receivers in NFL history. If he asked you to do a documentary on him, or if you had the idea, is that something you'd be interested in doing?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, his story is so... and it even goes deeper than that, right? There's the Chris story, right? Just which, like the stuff you just mentioned, but even like his mom, which he talks about very publicly as well. She had 7 kids before the age of 25.
Yep.
Wow.
I mean, think about that. And then she battled and then later went on to get her master's degree. Right. So there are even, stories within stories. Right. And then his son, who went on to play at Ohio State, Deron, and then played in the NFL for a little bit and then the CFL. I think he might still be in the CFL. And then his daughter, Monterey, is an executive or, working a really nice job in marketing at Nationwide right now. So there's stories even within the story. Right. Of Chris that I think are so amazing. And then also, I talk to Chris a lot, and we talk about just like, I ask him questions straight up like, how did you become great? What are some of the secrets? What are the keys? And one of the, things that he talks about was just consistency. Once he kind of overcame some of those things, the level of consistency and dedication, being willing to do things that other people aren't willing to do.
Every day.
And then fighting, you also are fighting those demons, right? We all have them in one way, shape, or form. And that's a daily battle. His battles with, alcoholism, that's daily. He'll tell you, it's like, listen, I'm not over that. I still have to fight it every day. It's not like that I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm good now. So those are things that I think are just connecting points for a lot of people. And why, to answer your question, why I would love to tell a story like that is because I think there are a lot of relatable aspects to someone like that. And what you realize about these quote-unquote superheroes or legends is that at the end of the day, they are human beings who have just made certain decisions. And yes, they're gifted, but there's certain decisions that they had to make over and over and over and over again every day to make sure that they sustained greatness. And I think it's just a great lesson for us all.
Yeah, when I was 16, I like I say, I was very angry at Chris Carter because Buckeye fan. He gets suspended or gets has his eligibility revoked, and I was so angry at 16 as a Buckeye fan. But now as a 54-year-old man, I look back and think, man, that dude is something else. Like to be able to overcome what he did and to reach the heights he did. And I can relate to it so much more now. Like you said, everyone's got their demons. We're all dealing with things. And the fact that he was able to come, because think about it. That's like your lowest point, I'm sure, in his life right there was getting told he couldn't play any more college football. At that point, might have been the lowest point in his life into where he rose to. And it is incredible.
Yeah, he's an inspiration and in that way, and how he continues to fight, and now he's pouring back into young people. He's the executive director of player engagement at Florida Atlantic University, and just really involved in just the development of young people and mentorship as well. So giving back some of those lessons, it's kind of like what Maurice Claret is doing in some way. Right?
Oh yeah,
just taking the lessons that they've learned, the good and the bad, and giving it back to the next generation. And ultimately, I think that's kind of our responsibility, even with the stuff that I'm doing with the book and documentary. It's really, a lot of it is related to that too. It's like taking the lessons that I've learned and the things that I've gone through, the ups and the downs, sharing them with people and hoping that somebody takes something positive out of it.
Yeah, I had a great conversation with Chris on the Tim May show back in late July, forecasting obviously the greatness that was coming in Jeremiah Smith, which is kind of like saying the sun is hot, right?
Right.
But yes, Chris is been interesting to me since I covered that whole mess back in '87, and covered him when he was a freshman, when he broke onto the scene, especially that Rose Bowl, and he's those kind of guys can because they've been there, they can tell you what it's all about, and what to do and what not to do, but you still got to make those decisions on your own, right, Mekka Don?
100%. And one other thing too, I think is, that he tells a lot of the young guys is like, about football now is just keep the main thing the main thing. Obviously, care about your money and your NIL and all that stuff. Sure. But the main thing is the main thing. And for you to have sustained success, I believe he played 16 seasons, was probably in 10 Pro Bowls or something like that. Like that is something that to be able to do that, talent is important, of course, but you have to dedicate yourself to the game. And so he talks to a lot of the young guys about that too, which I think is pretty cool. So, yeah, it's a great relationship. And, again, to bring it all full circle, like Tito, you said, the brotherhood is really amazing. I've been so fortunate to squeak my way in there as a walk-on and be able to create these relationships with these guys and really learn and grow with them, and then also provide value as well. There are things that I've learned and experiences that I've had that are helpful to them as well. So, I help Chris with certain situations as well. So it is a really just great thing, and it makes me really proud to be a Buckeye.
Mekka, by the way, just knowing your personality and knowing your energy, you don't sneak into anything, but we appreciate the time. Mekka Don Music, where you can follow him on all social platforms, and make sure you follow him there. Mekka, we'll talk again next week, buddy.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good one. Go Bucks.
There you go. There he is, Mekka Don there joining us.
He walks in backwards, making it look like he's leaving. That's how he gets in.
That's a good way to look at it. Coming up next, did a couple of five-star QBs make mistakes, and can it be avoided? We'll do that. Fan Sports Sunday on the Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And, well, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, I remember you saying that a family business should reflect family values, that a customer deserves to be treated with kindness and compassion.
And those values will never change. The reputation you built for being fair and honest is our greatest asset.
In fact, in 2024, Care was awarded a BBB Torch Award for ethics and named the Lennox Partner of the Year.
You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind. It's an honor to continue serving Central Ohio as a locally owned, family-run business.
So, whether you need a tune-up, repair, or just honest advice, Care is here for you.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
I've had a number of surgeries, and frankly, I don't have time to rehab a surgery and an operation at this point in my life. I didn't want to take time off my kids' activities.
That's why former college and pro football player Bobby Carpenter turned to QC Kinetics. We couldn't be happier saving our patients like him from operating rooms and long recoveries.
They will resume like normal activity for me, which is a lot of running. It's a lot of workouts. I've been very, very blessed with how it's been able to hold up.
For so long, patients have accepted surgery as the only solution. But with new technologies, the medical professionals at QC Kinetics use regenerative treatments, your body's own biologics, to help heal and restore knees, hips, shoulders, and backs.
I actually ran into a friend of mine over at our golf course, and he had his knee done. It felt so well. He'd got his shoulder done. He goes, I can't thank you enough. He'd heard the commercial on the air, and so it's feeling great.
Find out how you can avoid surgery and finally get relief. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
We've discovered the perfect morning ritual, the 2 for $6 breakfast sandwich deal at Tim Hortons. Every sandwich is made to order with a freshly cracked egg and melty cheese, just the way breakfast should be. Choose between savory sausage or hickory smoked bacon, served on a toasted English muffin or flaky biscuit. There's no wrong way to mix and match this tasty deal. 2 breakfast sandwiches, just $6. Perfect. Only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, single item at regular menu price. Modifications and tax extra. Exclusions and additional terms apply.
When it comes to your roofing, siding, or gutter needs, call Newman Roofing. 614-NEW-ROOF. NewmanRoofing.com.
What's the best way to make sure you don't miss any of your favorite fan shows? Oh, no. Download the Fan app, silly.
God damn it, I knew that.
App Store, Google Play, or just scream right at your phone. Psst, you can also listen to Buckeye games. Do it now.
Hey Sports Cards fans, I'm Jeff with my buddy Adam, and we run Huggy Kissy Bear breaks on the Whatnot app. What's a card break? Simple. We open boxes of cards live, you pick your team, and we send you all the hits. With over 2,300 5-star reviews, we're all about you. New to card breaks? No sweat. We've got you covered with a sweet welcome package from us. Download the Whatnot app and follow us on Instagram and TikTok to view all of our past Sugar Bear hits. Huggy Kissy Bear breaks, where collectors win big.
Let's go to the floor with some late-breaking developments on the markets, Jim.
Up things are down things are up.
Sounds like things
You don't understand. Right is left, lemons are sweet, spaghetti is cold, the milk is warm.
Okay, but are you seeing anything that maybe smart-minded money people should know about?
Yeah. Apex Pros.
The pros who knows?
Probably one of the most stable things you can do is an Apex Pros air conditioner tune-up.
Air conditioner tune-ups, you say?
Oh, yeah. Apex Pros knows most expensive summer breakdowns can be prevented by getting a tune-up now.
Yes, it's known that a tuned-up AC lowers energy bills, which is important to...
Oh, this is unbelievable.
What, big sell-off? Huge increase?
No, I spilled coffee on my new shirt. Anyway, tune-up save on energy bills, plus make your air conditioner last years longer.
Good to know Apex Pros keeps things stable and predictable.
That's on my pants, too. This is the worst day. This is historic. You know that.
No doubt about it. Columbus loves Apex Pros. The pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. During weekend programming, pants are optional.
Look at my butt!
However, leather chairs may have been a bad choice. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
Fan Sports Sunday, thank you to Mekka Don for joining us for his weekly segment. We appreciate that.
Buckle up.
Yeah, buckle up. Tim, so we know that we're, obviously the draft is well in the books now, the NFL draft. Shedeur Saunders goes 144 overall to the Browns, and Quinn Ewers goes 231.
I didn't hear about that. Was that a big deal?
I know. It hasn't been mentioned much. Breaking news on that one. And Quinn Ewers goes 231 to the Dolphins. Now, Sanders' contract calls for $4.6 million over 4 years. His salary for this year is going to be $951,638. Ewers gets 4.3 over 4 years because of the salary cap slots or the rookie salary slots. He'll make $872,833 in 2025. And it's going to be a pay cut for both of them. You know, they both made more money than that in the NIL era at their schools now.
Or at least that's what we're supposed to believe.
We're supposed to believe, yeah. I think they did. The reports out of the Texas area were that he could have had, according to a report from Horns 24/7, Ewers could have made, he had an offer of $8 million in NIL funds to go transfer and play somewhere else. Allegedly. And maybe it wasn't $8 million, but I got to believe it's more than $872,000 he's going to bring in this year.
Right.
And Saunders, you know, if you would have told Saunders before the draft, you're going to go 144 and this will be your salary, I think he would have chose to play another year of college football.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so is there, I know when you go to the baseball situation, you're eligible for the draft, and then you get drafted, and the team has your rights for a while or whatever, and then you could get drafted again. Is there, and I can't see him doing this in the NFL because it's only a 7-round draft, and you're not going to be able to do that, but it just seems like I wish there was a solution to where, because Saunders and Ewers took big gambles, they're not paying off right now.
Well, yeah, but they were drafted.
Yes.
Which is they didn't end up as free agents. Right. They were drafted, number one. A team has put some investment into them. Mm-hmm. Quinn Ewers, I had an idea that actually Will Howard might end up with Miami, because Miami's got to find somebody, because Tua Tagovailoa is another head slap away from being out of football.
Out of football altogether, yes.
And thought they were looking for a developmental guy. My point is this. I think as soon as you can get into the NFL, the better off you are in some respects, because both of these guys have been in college football for a while, Quinn Ewers and Shedeur, number one. Number two, you stay another year, whatever they nitpicked about you, whether it was your personality, your game on the field, maybe both,
right,
and other things, there is just going to be exacerbated when you return. I do believe for another year for both of those guys. Obviously, Texas had a quarterback in waiting that they wanted to get on the field in Arch Manning.
Sure.
And so they've got that. Shedeur, how much better is he going to actually play for Colorado, because they still haven't addressed a lot of their –
and Hunter's not back, yeah.
Right, and their needs, et cetera. But both of these guys – are interesting studies in the modern day, because, like you said, you think they could make more money coming back for another year, but would it have stunted totally their chances of playing in the National Football League? Because we all know Quinn Ewers, as good as he's been, as good as he is, the last 2 years was eliminated with sort of a lackluster play in the final moments of the game against Washington in the college football playoff semifinal 2 years ago, and then last year against Ohio State. Now, it clearly wasn't all his fault, getting balls tipped, by Jack Sawyer, one tipped, and then one on third down, and one getting knocked out of his hands in return for a touchdown on fourth down. But the bottom line is they both had some things that piqued scouts and pro people's interest in the wrong direction.
Right.
And I'm not sure there's a correction that can be made there with another year of college football, plus you put yourself in jeopardy. Both of their desires were to get to the National Football League. So they are where they are. But, yeah, you can talk about money you could have made, coulda, woulda, shoulda. But, Quinn Ewers was with about as good a lineup as you can put on the field the last 2 years and didn't quite get to the promised land. So I'm not sure you want to go to a lesser program and get beat up. Shedeur Saunders did that. He got beat up the last 2 years.
He did, big time. Coming up next, we'll get you caught up with everything going on today. We will do that. Fan Sports Sunday on the Fan.
Buckeye games have been airing on WBNS since before you were born and before your parents were born and before Abraham Lincoln was born. Trust me, your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Sick of the long security lines and flight delays? Travel on your terms. Go RVing and get ready to save at RCD RV's Open House. From May 3rd through the 10th, take advantage of huge deals on new and pre-owned RVs. Our Delaware, Heath, and Pataska locations will feature exclusive sale pricing on all new and pre-owned travel trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes with special financing rates available, plus discounts on camping accessories. Come by today. We'll have you road ready by Memorial Day. Find unbeatable savings, unforgettable fun, and everything you need to hit the road at rcdrv.com.
Working your way through that honey-do list? That means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with the thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing and drain cleanings and repairs and all your heating and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your furnace or air conditioner. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain cleaning? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing issues? Call the Waterworks. Furnace repairs? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks. Trusted neighborhood plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Individual results may vary. Consult a doctor prior to use.
You've lost so much weight. How'd you do it?
I got medical treatment for weight loss through Zelty and lost 50 pounds. I struggled for the longest time, but Zelty makes it easy and affordable to get weight loss treatment 100% online. Zelty providers can prescribe FDA-approved weight loss medications clinically shown to help people lose weight, like Wegovy, Zepbound, and others.
I've heard those medications can help you lose weight, but aren't they expensive?
Zelty can help get the medication covered by insurance, so it's as little as $0 a month.
What if you don't have insurance?
No problem. Zelty may be able to help you get other GLP-1 medications for 80 to 90% off the price of name brand medications.
I'm ready to start losing weight. How do I get started with Zelty?
Just text.
Text LOSE to 200-300 to get started today with Zelty and see if weight loss medications like Wegovy and Zepbound are right for you. Don't wait. Text now for a link to your exclusive offer. Text LOSE to 200-300. That's LOSE to 200-300. LOSE to 200-300.
Hey folks, it's Austin Ward here with a challenge. Well, a challenge might not be the best choice of words, so let's say an opportunity. Take the opportunity to lose 40 by the 4th with Awaken 180. Has a different ring to it when you have a finish line, doesn't it? 40 by the 4th. Maybe you looked at the scale this morning and it read 230 pounds. How about it reading 190 by the 4th of July? Maybe the scale says 300. Wouldn't the 260 number be a little nicer on your eyes and on your knees? It's attainable if you have the same results we all had with Awaken 180. I dropped 40 pounds in just 8 weeks. There's no reason you can't drop 40 by the 4th and be feeling as great as I still do now. Ring Independence Day in healthy, confident, and most important, feeling happy. You reached your goal with the help of Awaken 180. So fire up your grill and grab your beverage of choice because the weight's staying off thanks to free support for life. 40 by the 4th. Set your goal and reach it. Reserve your consultation online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Jacob Reimer. We are set up for a loaded day in sports on this Sunday. Starting in baseball, the Reds go for the series win today in the rubber match against the Washington Nationals. Nick Martinez will get the ball for the Redlegs. First pitch is at 4:10 with coverage right here on the Fan starting at 3:40. Same for the Guardians, who split the first two with the Blue Jays across the border. Tanner Bybee is on the mound for Cleveland, and they get going here shortly after 1:30 up in Toronto. We have the greatest two words in sports, Game 7. A pair of them today in the NBA and Stanley Cup playoffs. The Warriors look to avoid blowing a 3-1 lead to the Rockets. Tip-off from Houston is at 8:30. The winner will meet the Minnesota Timberwolves in the next round. While on the ice, the Jets host the Blues in a winner-take-all in Winnipeg at 7 o'clock. And the Cavs begin their Eastern Conference semis matchup tonight as they welcome in the Indiana Pacers. Tip-off of Game 1 is at 6 o'clock. Breaking sports news when it happens on the Fan.
Sports talk, weekend style. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
Fan Sports Sunday. Tito and Tim with you. Jacob Reimer over there doing the update. Hey, look, dude, you do them live. That happens. Not a big deal.
We're good.
Minor mistake to make.
Hey, has Jacob in a depression, a funk after basketball season's over?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
If you ever feel better about your Sports Center updates, go listen to Timmy's.
Hey, he wore that. Didn't he? Does he wear a Carolina or a Duke jersey sometimes?
No, first, don't say Duke. He's going to throw up.
Carolina.
Exactly. Did you notice? Did he cry when Bo Atkinson left North Carolina football?
I don't think
did he even care?
He bleeds a lot more Carolina blue during basketball season.
I was more upset when Drake Powell announced that he's entering the NBA draft.
Yeah, exactly.
That was always fun.
Everybody's got their ballywick.
Tim, who do you think he's going to be rooting for in the CBS Sports Classic? When Ohio State plays North Carolina?
I would I think it's pretty obvious. We don't need to say that on the air because they don't want to get him fired.
No, he's not getting fired. It's just going to get ridiculed by the listeners.
I just hope both teams have fun.
There we go. Attaboy, River.
Hey, where's that played, by the way?
This year it's in Georgia Dome or Atlanta?
It's in Atlanta.
Yeah, I told you one of my favorite things I ever covered was North Carolina versus Kentucky at the Meadowlands Arena. Remember the old Meadowlands Arena?
Yeah.
When it was Michael Jordan's coming out party as a freshman.
Oh,
player.
really?
I think Sam Bowie was on Kentucky. Whatever. Yeah, it was a great game. I mean, it was like a game in the middle of nowhere, packed house, of course, because you can't get to more passionate fan bases for basketball, really.
Right. Yeah.
And then next day, I covered an NFL playoff game at Old Shea Stadium.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The only place I've ever had something stolen from me at a press box, my binoculars.
Really?
Yeah, because the press box was open to the crowd, It
was?
And but you had to kind of reach up, and somebody reached up there while I was in the locker room because the winner of that game played the Bengals the next week. And because I was covering the Bengals and the Browns back then and stuff. And, I took my nice long-held binoculars and never saw them again.
Wow.
Yeah. That and the rats who you would see occasionally down in the bowels of Old Shea Stadium.
Of those old stadiums, yes.
Yeah.
So
no tears shed for that place.
Tim, we kind of cut the last segment short, but the Ewers and Saunders thing, and you're always saying how I wish there was a remedy to it but they could maybe come back, but nonetheless, it appears on the surface they made potentially a poor financial decision. I know you mentioned that the things they get nitpicked about now, they could get nitpicked, or they could improve on those also, Tim. If the things they had that they were holding against Ewers, holding against Saunders, if they spent another year in college football and improved on those things, that could also improve their draft stock because their stocks really couldn't get much lower than they got.
No. I mean, a lot of people peruse these guys, and number one, you got to be in the market for a quarterback, and the teams that didn't take them early, obviously. Right. And here's the other thing that, Ryan Day brought this up. He wasn't even meaning to refer to it as NFL play, but National Football League. But you get so few opportunities to play quarterback.
Right.
I'm talking about in real games.
Sure.
And Kurt Warner spoke about this on some interview I saw the other day where, the opportunities to show what you're all about when for one of another term, and it's a term used a lot, but I don't really like when the bullets are flying, so to speak. Sure. But really, as Ryan Day will point out, man, in the pocket, when you stand there in the pocket, you can't simulate that with a computer program or anything when you've got 300-pound guys who want to tear your head off, being blocked by 320-pound guys trying to keep that from happening, and you've got to feel all that while also keeping your eyes downfield, keeping your eyes on the prize. I mean, you can't simulate that except for really playing football. And what these guys are both going to, because they're both going into situations where off the cuff it doesn't look like they're going to get to play much football even in training camp. And so that kind of retards your growth as a quarterback. Sometimes you're better off sitting there and watching for a while and seeing how you can be better when you get that next real opportunity.
Sure.
But that's where they are more than financially in their careers is how do I prove that I am the guy? How do I prove I am Tom Brady, 6th-round draft pick, who ends up winning more Super Bowls than any man in history? That was almost luck of the draw what happened with Tom Brady. Right. Bill Belichick can brag now that, they, strategically took him in the 6th round. Because, baloney. You knew your quarterback. Drew Bledsoe was your quarterback.
Yeah.
And so they've kind of now gone into, like, being controllers of their own fate. Like you're talking about, where could Quinn Ewers have gone for whatever amount of money in college football this coming season? He had control of that fate. Instead, his fate is now in the control of other people's hands. And it's got to be really unnerving for both of these players who have been leaned on for years as the guy, and now they're not the guy. They're a guy that gets in line. And I really like the way Shedeur Saunders kicked things off in the Cleveland area.
Oh, you're going out there and speaking at the Sokola High School or something like that, right? And
in his press conference he did with the reporters up there, which I watched the whole thing, he was not bitter about. He didn't show any real bitterness about what happened because what can you do about it now?
Right. And, I thought so too. That's a maturation point.
And there's something else that's going on too that is really striking to me. Like I said a while ago, sometimes you got to show a team, like a college team, you can run their offense before you get to do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
That really hasn't been the case for him, for example. I don't say he doesn't have talent. I don't think he's got a great arm.
Right.
I think he's got a good arm. But now it's like you've got to please other people to make them feel like they can trust this $1 billion whatever franchise, put it in your hands, because that's really what a quarterback. He's not just holding a football. He's holding a franchise in his hands.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's a different dynamic for both of these guys, which will be interesting to watch how each of them deals with it. You know, we saw Ryan Leaf.
Right.
You know,
didn't handle it well.
Yeah.
Did not handle it well.
No,
famously.
But he was taken. You know, I mean,
he was a number 2 pick.
Yeah. There was another guy named Manning back then, and they won, and it worked out well for the Colts.
Yeah,
it didn't work out well for Ryan Leaf.
Nope. And that's why I hope the Browns are on the offseason Hard Knocks. I don't know what the rules are for when they select who it's going to be. They did offseason when they did the Giants last year. You saw the Saquon Barkley stuff. The NFL, I got to believe they're smart enough to know that, we'll put the Browns on the offseason thing.
But how cocky was that New York Giants GM thinking he was going to come back and just get Saquon's going to be waiting outside his door.
Like, I know that teams can, like, with certain criteria, there are certain reasons why you can say I'm not doing the regular Hard Knocks. There's like, if you've there's only a few teams that are like completely eligible. Not everyone has to say yes to it. They ask, but then they could force somebody to do it.
Yeah.
But
you don't want a sideshow to take over. That's what the NFL is really big. They want to create their own distractions.
Well, yeah, but they know though if they do the Browns on the offseason Hard Knock, it'll do incredible ratings.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So do they share in that? I mean, be the big question. And why wouldn't you do it? Because guys like you and I would love to watch that.
Sure, yeah. Reds lost at home to the Nationals last night, 11-6. They played 4:10 today. Coverage on 97.1 The Fan right here. Guardians and Blue Jays. Guardians won 5-3. They play north of the border here in about less than half an hour first pitch. Crew over Charlotte 4-2. Crew in first place in the MLS. Nuggets won Game 7 over the Clippers last night, 120-101. They advanced to play top seed Oklahoma City. Tonight at 8:30, Warriors in Houston for a Game 7 against the Rockets. That winner will play Minnesota, the 6th seed in the West, who had knocked off the 3 seed Lakers. Indiana and Cleveland get their Game 1 Eastern Conference semifinals underway tonight at 6 o'clock. In the NHL, Dallas defeated Colorado 4-2, overcoming a 2-goal deficit, scored 4 straight goals to advance in the NHL playoffs. Tonight at 7, St. Louis and Winnipeg have a Game 7. OSU Lacrosse won its first Big Ten tournament 14-10 over Maryland. We're going to have Nick Myers on, head coach of that team, at 2:30. And
looking
also
forward to that.
Yeah, that should be a lot of fun. Yes, I look forward to talking to him as well. And don't forget, coming up, we're going to have John Gerber on in this hour as well. But Katie Ledecky, I saw this real quick, Tim. She broke a record that she set 9 years ago, a 9-year-old world record, which is hard to do in swimming. Because, one, you're older, obviously, but also
the water doesn't get any thinner.
Water getting thinner.
Maybe it does. I don't know.
Right. She in the 2016 Olympics in Rio de Janeiro, she did the 800 meter freestyle in 8:04.79. Yesterday in Fort Lauderdale at the TYR Pro Series, she did an 8:04.12, beating it by more than half a second, which was fantastic for her. Swimming is, you can swim a little later in life. She's 28 years old now. She was 19. I mean, how many of us could do something at 28 better than we did at 19?
Yeah, but I mean, you can get stronger. I mean, 800 meters is not the same as 100. So
sure,
you don't necessarily need that, that quick twitch thing that got you where you were, but to where you were. But I mean, high jumpers go into their later years and stuff. And I don't know why extended length swimmers can't do the same thing and get better.
It's
it's all form, man. It's all form and strength.
Yep. All right, coming up next, we'll check in with our resident golf betting expert, John Gerber. Fan Sports Sunday on the Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Want to learn about Pick 4 from the Ohio Lottery? Okay. Pick 4 is a daily draw game where you pick 4 individual numbers between 0 and 9 that can be played straight, where each number must be drawn in an exact order or box where they can be drawn in any order. You can win up to $2,500 on a 50-cent bet. Learn more at OhioLottery.com or the Ohio Lottery app. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly. Want to go back to the radio? Okay.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. Dutch Boys Durafighter is a premium interior paint and primer in one with a tough, lasting formula. It provides great scrub resistance and durability with remarkable hide and a smooth finish. Save big on Dutch Boys Durafighter paint at Menards and start your next project today. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Sick of the long security lines and flight delays? Travel on your terms. Go RVing and get ready to save at RCD RV's Open House. From May 3rd through the 10th, take advantage of huge deals on new and pre-owned RVs. Our Delaware, Heath, and Pataska locations will feature exclusive sale pricing on all new and pre-owned travel trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes with special financing rates available, plus discounts on camping accessories. Come by today. We'll have you road ready by Memorial Day. Find unbeatable savings, unforgettable fun, and everything you need to hit the road at RCDRV.com.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Hey folks, it's Austin Ward here with a challenge. Well, a challenge might not be the best choice of words, so let's say an opportunity. Take the opportunity to lose 40 by the 4th with Awaken 180. Has a different ring to it when you have a finish line, doesn't it? 40 by the 4th. Maybe you looked at the scale this morning and it read 230 pounds. How about it reading 190 by the 4th of July? Maybe the scale says 300. Wouldn't the 260 number be a little nicer on your eyes and on your knees? It's attainable if you have the same results we all had with Awaken 180. I dropped 40 pounds in just 8 weeks. There's no reason you can't drop 40 by the 4th and be feeling as great as I still do now. Ring Independence Day in healthy, confident, and most important, feeling happy. You reached your goal with the help of Awaken 180. So fire up your grill and grab your beverage of choice because the weight's staying off thanks to free support for life. 40 by the 4th. Set your goal and reach it. Reserve your consultation online at awaken180weightloss.com.
The Buckeye Show.
Jeremiah Smith, he should probably be on the cover of EA Sports. Absolutely. Like 100% probably will be on the cover. There's no curse for that, is there?
The Buckeye Show.
Presented by Coors Light and sponsored by CareSource.
Weeknights at 6 on The Fan.
When it comes to your roofing, siding, or gutter needs, call Newman Roofing. 614-NEW-ROOF. NewmanRoofing.com.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. What if you could bank that equity right now? With TrueHold, you can sell your home for its current value, so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. TrueHold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since TrueHold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit TrueHold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours, based on its current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's TrueHold.com.
She's the heart of your home, the keeper of traditions, and the one who always puts everyone else first. In the spring, it's her turn. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. For over 78 years, we've offered unforgettable gifts for every milestone, big and small. Mother's Day, anniversaries, birthdays, and more. She deserves more than flowers. She deserves to sparkle. For jewelry that lasts a lifetime, visit Diamond Cellar on Sawmill Road and at Easton Town Center, or shop with us online at diamondcellar.com.
Legend has it, underneath the NJM insurance offices lies a room of rejected mascot memorabilia. Is it real? No one knows. But we do know NJM is proud to put policyholders first. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance.
Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We're tracking the chance for a few showers and storms this afternoon with highs into the mid-60s. And then for tonight, the chance of showers and storms early on. Otherwise, cooling down to the upper 40s here overnight. By Monday, we'll see another chance for a few showers and storms, especially for the afternoon with highs into the 60s. And that chance of rain will continue on Tuesday before we finally see drier conditions and more sunshine with highs in the 70s on Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Aaron White with your 10 weather impact forecast here on 97.1 The Fan.
No hot takes, no dancing, plenty of stupid. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Your go-to destination for Buckeye football talk all year round. This is Fan Sports Sunday.
It is Fan Sports Sunday. We head out to the Bryant Heating Cooling System Fan Guest Hotline, joined by our golf betting expert, John Gerber. He is the host of From the Rough podcast on FanStream Sports and DSP Media, writer for Athlon Sports, and like I said, our betting expert. You can follow him on Twitter at JGerberPGA Pro. And Gerb, I know that, look, this week with the CJ Cup Byron Nelson, Scotty Scheffler's got the biggest lead, 54-hole lead, biggest 54-hole lead since Rory McIlroy led by 8 strokes in the 2011 U.S. Open going into that final round. So, and I know you don't want to put Scheffler on your card because there's no money you made. So you're not going to get the winner this week, it looks like. You got a couple of guys that are in the top 10, top 20 range that could still do it. But I wanted to ask you this first. The midway point of the season now, and I'm curious a couple things. Who's had the best season so far? I want to know who you think has been the biggest disappointment, and what has been the most surprising win by a player?
Yeah, good afternoon, guys. Yeah, those are really good questions. I'm down here in Dallas just leaving my duties at the Byron Nelson just because it does look like Scotty's going to, run away with this thing. The weather's been very difficult here this week with all the rain and these guys touching the ball in hand. And, sometimes there's nothing better than home cooking. I think that's what Scotty's doing. But, yeah, to answer your question, surprising, probably the best year so far certainly is Rory McIlroy, in my opinion, with all the expectations that he has every year going into the Masters and finally getting it done and winning the Players' Championship. And we talk about this all the time. I certainly don't think he would have won the Masters if he doesn't win the Players' Championship. I just think that, with that strong of a field, him winning, knowing he can win in that big of a tournament kind of propelled him. Maybe the disappointment for me is, Jordan Spieth taking this long to kind of get back into maybe predominance in the golfing world. He was paired with Scotty this week in the first 2 days, and he just looked like he was a JV player compared to Scotty. It wasn't even close when it came to that. So maybe those on the good end of the spectrum, bad end of the spectrum. I'm a little bit surprised in terms of there's not more rookies. If you see every year, there's usually 3 or 4 rookies that kind of jump out and not really household names, but guys that have come at you haven't really heard of. Last year, you looked at long-hitting Jake Knapp. You don't really have that guy this year. I know Brian Campbell won early in the year, but he's still not a household name. But so maybe that's the surprise, a guy that you usually see every single year that you hadn't heard of before. We haven't really had that guy this year.
Yeah, what's funny, this is Tim May, John, what's funny about, for example, Jordan Spieth, though, I think he's, -4 today, and any other golf tournament, he'd be 1 stroke off the lead, if you follow my drift. Instead, you got Scotty Scheffler out there zooming away. I think Jordan's making progress. I mean, he just keeps having that, what I call Tim May. Tim May has 3 or 4 holes every round. Jordan Spieth has 1 or 2 holes every round. It kind of throw a bugaboo at him and kind of ruins his round. But I think he's coming along. But, headed toward the PGA, man, who are you really focusing on? Forget about Scotty Scheffler. Who's that guy that could really, you think, is poised to maybe make another move at a major, looking at it from this far out?
Yeah. I mean, this is Rory's house, right? Quail Hollow. I mean, right. he's had 4 wins. It's that old adage. He loves the golf course, and actually winning last year at the Truist, where the tournament is next week. They played it last year at Quail Hollow. Him winning there and also winning so many times there and having great success. He's certainly going to be the favorite on the card. We probably won't bet him just because the Scotty Scheffler theory. You just can't really make any money on him. But
right,
he's the guy that you're going to look out for. I think with the win that JT had at Harbortown, I think it's going to be something that's going to give him a lot of confidence. A past PGA winner playing at a place that he likes to play. He likes the shape shoot the ball. It moves in a lot of different directions out there at Quail Hollow. So maybe a Justin Thomas is a guy that you can get at some pretty good value. He's probably not going to be the top. Maybe, he'll probably be top 6 or 7 in terms of the odds. But looking at a guy like that, but Rory certainly, he salivates when he goes to Charlotte and Quail Hollow.
John Gerber joins us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling System Fan Guest Hotline, golf betting expert. I know you have no head-to-heads today, but update us on your record on head-to-heads for the season.
Yeah, it was just because of the weather. It's very tough. I mean, this is part of the betting that you have to be very disciplined, especially being out there covering all this week. How difficult it was. The record for the year is 28-6-2 for the year in terms of the record, the matchups. We took last week off. And the 2 weeks prior, we were 8-1 in our matchups for those 2 weeks, and we are still plus 26-10 for the year in profit. Looks like we might lose a little bit this week. Hopefully, Sam Burns, we're right there with Sam Burns, maybe jumping in that top 10, and with Davis Riley possibly jumping in that top 20. Davis hurt us the other day with a 2-shot penalty using a rangefinder with slope. So that might hurt us a little bit. I have to have a little talk with Davis Riley when it comes to that, how to turn that little thing off right there. But, we might get a little luck, and if we're able to get that, we'll break even. But looking forward to maybe next week. Next week is going to be a challenge. I'm really excited about the next month in golf. If you look, a signature event, you have the PGA Championship coming back to Colonial after that, and then going up to Murfield. So there's some great venues and some great golf and some really good opportunities for us to make some money in the next month.
Yeah, some hard courses. By the way, I've got one of those rangefinders that I click it on, and on some shots it just comes up, says no chance. Hey, John. Does
it have JT's initials right next to it when it says that?
Yes, exactly. Fire away anyway. Fire away. But I wonder, you're a golfer of repute. When you watch Scheffler, from your vantage point, because you can play golf better than the average man, what is it that I know he hits shots really close and all that kind of stuff, but why is that? What is it about his game or his ability to hit the golf ball itself that sets him apart when he's really rolling? I mean, I know precision, right, and everything else, but how do you define that? How do you clarify for people who don't understand what he's truly doing? It's almost like a surgeon sometimes, how precise he is.
Throughout the years, if as a general public, if you look at his golf swing, you think it's not technically sound, but he owns his golf swing. Most of the guys on the PGA Tour have a stock shot. They feel very comfortable hitting it right to left or left to right. Scotty feels comfortable moving it both ways. So there's not a pin. There's not a pin out there that he's scared of. Mm-hmm. So he feels and he owns his golf swing. He's worked with Randy Smith since he was, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. So he knows he knows exactly what his golf ball is going to do, and he knows how to fix it when he gets off a little bit. But his ability to move the golf ball both ways doesn't eliminate a golf course for him. So, you're looking at a place that you have to be very creative. This isn't one of them at Byron Nelson. It's pretty straightforward. But you look at a place, like a Quail Hollow, and then when he did potentially contend at the Heritage, it's a golf course that you have to move it in both directions. And I just think that's his strength, and he doesn't have a weakness when it comes to that in the ball striking.
Yeah, I think that aspect of golf is totally underappreciated by some people, because Tiger was like this too. When they're really on their game, they're artists. I mean, they're literally able to take that canvas and be more precise on that canvas than a house painter would be. You know what I mean? They're more like a fine artist. And it's just, if you're you're 2, 3, 4 feet closer to a hole on a consistent basis, chances are you're going to make those putts if you're a decent putter. And that's what he's got going for him, right? I mean, to put it in a nutshell.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at him, I've been around him just living here in Dallas for so long. I've been around him and knowing Randy Smith. I worked with Randy Smith in my own game for a few years and just being around him. But if you look at when he plays golf, he rarely hits the same golf shot.
Right.
In terms of a round of golf, whether it's high, low, left to right, right to left. So he's very creative when it comes to that. And he sees windows even for the tour players that a lot of guys do not see. So I think just owning his own golf swing, being very creative, and having the confidence to be able to move the ball both ways certainly gives him an advantage over most people when you play in. That's why his game travels so well, and he's not focused on, hey, he can only play this type of golf course.
Gerb, I am wondering about a specific guy for the PGA Championship because I'm going to be boots on ground there, and I'm trying to figure out, all of the different types of guys that could have some success there. And I remembered this morning that Viktor Hovland, in this event, the last 2 years, he had a tie 2 at Oak Hill, and he finished 3rd at Valhalla last year. What do you like of him at Quail Hollow this year?
Well, if you look at those two scenarios at their PGA Championship has a tendency for all the majors to lend itself up with a little bit open, wider fairways, so it gives some generosity off the tee for these guys. And Quail Hollow is not the hardest chipping place in the world. So if you put a combination with Viktor Hovland, who hits the ball plenty far but has a tendency to not be the straightest driver of the golf ball, and get a facility that's not the most difficult to chip, he can certainly contend. I'm just still worried about, is his mind still right for this type of pressure in a major championship? I know he won earlier in the year at Valspar, a little bit different type of golf course, but he was almost dumbfounded that he won. So I don't think you can have that mentality going into a major championship. So I don't know if he's going to be on our card. We'll have to wait to see a little bit in the week. But if he's able to drive it halfway decent, he may have a chance there at Quail Hollow.
The producers on these show we've always done, all the ones we've had, have always made it personal, John, with you. They act like it might be just a random question about a certain golfer, but it's always for their own betting interest. Hayden used to do that. It's how his dog always ate steak. And now in perfect form, Reimer's following up with that as well. We appreciate the time, brother. Thank you so much. At Jay Gerber PGA Pros, you can find all of his picks. They are absolutely free. You heard his record on head-to-heads. Follow that as well. At Jay Gerber PGA Pro, writer for Athlon Sports, and his podcast, the #1 podcast in the state of Ohio, From the Rough on Fan Street Sports and DSP Media. Gerb, thanks for the time, bud.
Appreciate you having me on, guys. Have a great week.
All right, that was John Gerber. I kid you because I love you, Reimer. I like saying that, but I do the same thing. I do ask sometimes questions of things that I phrase it around it so it sounds like it's a general question, but I really mean, Gerb, who should I bet? It's like we got to take advantage of that stuff.
Well, I mean, I was just looking at him in this event in general and how he's been good in this event.
It's fun. We go out at the Memorial. I've seen him out there a couple of times when we've done shows out there. We did Fan Sports Sunday out there before. I don't know if they'll be out there again this year, but you would see some of the golfers walk by and Gerb would tell you something about him. Much like a horse racing expert, when you see the horse go by, that guy's glue. Whatever. You would hear Gerb say the same, not just a phrase, but the same kind of thing about the golfers. Get some insider on that one. So he's always great for that. All right, folks, make sure you stick around because coming up next in 2 minutes, Dan Hope from 11 Warriors joins us. We get the latest scoop on the Buckeyes. That's next. Fan Sports Sunday on the Fan.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Spring weather has arrived, and we all know what that brings. Warmer weather and severe storms. Well, when bad weather hits, we all know it can cause leaky roofs or even damage to your siding and gutters. The Roofing Guys are your local experts in roofing, siding, and gutters and more, providing top quality through every roof, every time. So it's just a small repair, full replacement, or even peace of mind. You need to contact my guys, the Roofing Guys, 614-626-7000, or visit them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, you're the Carfax guy.
The Carfax from Carfax.
Wow.
And you, sir, work at Tire Discounters.
I sure do.
The Carfax top-rated service center.
Oh, right. A lot of that's because of our services. But people think we're just about tires.
Maybe it's your name.
Yeah?
Tire Discounters and your jingle.
Oh, you like it?
I think it needs something.
Yeah? Like what?
Hit it. Plus brakes, oil changes, shocks, and struts, and more. Now that speaks to me.
Nashville's hottest band, Old Dominion, is coming to Great American Ballpark on July 10th as part of the Ohio Lottery post-game concert series. After the Reds take on the Marlins, all fans in attendance are invited to stay and enjoy a set from Old Dominion. Plus, you can upgrade your ticket to a pit field pass for an up-close view of the show. For tickets and more information, visit reds.com/concerts.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Sick of the long security lines and flight delays? Travel on your terms. Go RVing and get ready to save at RCD RV's Open House. From May 3rd through the 10th, take advantage of huge deals on new and pre-owned RVs. Our Delaware, Heath, and Pataska locations will feature exclusive sale pricing on all new and pre-owned travel trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes with special financing rates available, plus discounts on camping accessories. Come by today. We'll have you road ready by Memorial Day. Find unbeatable savings, unforgettable fun, and everything you need to hit the road at rcdrv.com.
Matty Ice is currently bathing himself in creamy jalapeno dip. And I've officially run out of ways to tease this show. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan. It's sports conversation, but with a drink and umbrella as a garnish. This is Fan Sports Sunday.
All right, it's Fan Sports Sunday. Thank you, John Gerber, for joining us. We now head out to the Bryant Heating and Cooling System fan guest hotline from 11 Warriors. Dan Hope joins us. Dan, I've thought all along that Ohio State needed to add a backup kicker, but this guy could end up being the starter, couldn't he?
Well, I think there'll certainly be a competition. You look at what Jackson Corville did when he was at Ball State. Was a very good kicker there for 2 years, had multiple 50-yard field goals. So, I would still project as of now that Jaden Fielding will be the starting kicker. I think, the way that he performed down the stretch in the college ball playoff, I thought he looked really good this spring. And so I still think that Jaden Fielding will be the starting kicker, but I think this is certainly going to give him some legitimate competition, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, it's always, hey, Dan, it's Tim May. It's always interesting to me, kickers and punters, but how coaches, a few years ago didn't have any knowledge of what they actually do. It's just what did you do? Were you 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 and stuff? And it's funny how they have basically special teams guys that help them now, but it still comes down to putting it between the uprights, right? And a gut check time. But it is interesting, like we were talking about earlier on the show, how you bring guys in to kind of agitate the room a little bit, and this will fulfill that mission, won't it?
Yeah, and I think, that's been the goal really at all positions for Ohio State is, they always talk about, you want to have competition. So,
right.
I think maybe in the past, and maybe some of the earlier years of Ryan Day at the transfer portal, there was a little bit more hesitancy of bringing in guys who could upset the balance in the room. But I think we've seen it this year, whether it's Max Clare, whether it's, C.J. Donaldson or Ethan Onionwa, Philip Daniels. We've seen the last couple years, Ohio State's gotten a lot more aggressive in terms of bringing in. Even you go back to last year. A guy like Caleb Downs, they didn't necessarily need a safety last year, but they went out and got the best safety in the country. And so I think we've seen the last couple years that I think Ryan Day and Ohio State have gotten a lot more aggressive in terms of bringing in guys in the portal and not worrying so much about, is this going to upset the guys in the room, but more if this guy can go help us win a national championship, we're going to bring him in. Yeah, there was a perfect segue there for me to go. So know what you're saying. What you're saying is they're earning their money, but I'll get to that in a minute. I did want to ask you, the interesting thing to me, the dynamic, and I'm seeing develop right before our eyes is I think more and more you're going to take fewer shots on not necessarily – I'm not sure anybody's a sure thing as a lineman coming out of high school, you know what I mean? But why wouldn't you kind of like if you're an Ohio State or one of the top programs, wait and let a guy play somewhere else for a couple of years and see how he matures and then go get him, in some form or fashion. But I think Ethan Onionwa is a great example of how that could benefit them this year, coming from Rice the way he did and was basically their stalwart. But Philip Daniels is definitely a project, but I think he showed more and more stuff as spring went along. But don't you agree? It's kind of trending that direction, especially for offensive linemen. I think it's all a balance, right? That I think, but the goal is you want to use both to your advantage. Correct. Ohio State is never going to be that program that goes all in and they're bringing in 50 transfer guys a year. But you have to, in today's day of college football, even Clemson's bringing in transfers now. In today's day of college football, you have to use the transfer portal to your advantage if you're going to win a national championship. And so you can't be averse to the idea of if there's somebody out there who's played somewhere else that's better than the guys we have, you have to go bring those guys in now. And so I think, high school recruiting is always going to be very important in developing players from the high school ranks is always going to be very important. But if you can go out and get a guy that's already played at a high level elsewhere, who has experience that maybe your guys that you've been developing don't have, there's always going to be good reason to bring those guys in.
Josh Simmons, I mean, great example. I mean, Ohio State has rarely missed big time on a transfer. You know, we're still waiting to see Tywan Malone develop like we think he could, right? I mean, that's almost key to this football team of getting that depth in the middle of the defensive line. But losing those two guys, the two ties. Hey, I wanted to ask you this, man. The main reason I wanted to have you on, you had a great story about the new salaries for assistant coaches and stuff. What stood out to you most about that list that you revealed, or you and the Level Warriors revealed over the week?
Well, you know, certainly, you know, you think about how happy Matt Patricia seemed to be this spring, and you see that he's making $2.5 million. You go, well, no wonder he's happy. He has good reason to be happy. I mean, he's actually making more than Jim Knowles made last year as Ohio State's defensive coordinator. So I think that tells you how highly Ryan Day thinks of Matt Patricia. You know, Jim Knowles making a little bit more now at Penn State than Matt Patricia will be making at Ohio State. But, you know, to pay him $2.5 million, make him one of the highest paid coordinators in the country, I think that tells you how highly Ryan Day thinks of him. You know,
right. And let me interject something real quick. Ohio State, I think, was prepared to go to that number with Jim Knowles, but I think Jim Knowles and his people wanted more. So, you know, we'll leave it at that. Go ahead now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think you're absolutely right about that. But, you know, Jim Knowles would have gotten a raise if he was at Ohio State. He was just able to get a little bit bigger of a raise somewhere else, and, you know, they decided to part ways. But, you know, again, I think, you know, it shows how highly they think of Matt Patricia. And then, you know, you look at some of the other coaches who got raises. You know, Brian Hartline, obviously, getting a well-deserved raise. You know, he's now making the same amount as Chip Kelly made last year. Tim Walton getting a big raise. Matt Guerreri, you saw get a
wait. You're leaving out the numbers. Tim Walton, $1.8 million. Brian Hartline in the double digits million. I mean, not double digits, but over $2 million. Go ahead,
Yeah, $2 million for Brian Hartline, $1.8 million for Tim Walton. Larry Johnson also joining them in that seven-figure category of $1.4 million. And then, you know, Matt Guerreri, he over doubled his salary up to $900,000, along with Tyler Bowen, also in there at that $900,000 mark. So, you know, I think back to this time last year, we had an interview session of Gene Smith, and he talked about how he was going all in on his way out the door, and you know, kind of joked about how he was leaving Ross Bjork to deal with the budget that they were spending on the Ohio State coaches. And, you know, obviously that paid off in the end, going all in there. Led to a national championship, and it's clear that, you know, that directive has not changed this year, but the fact that they're paying their coaching staff even more than they were a year ago.
Dan Hope joins us here from 11 Warriors on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Yeah, and I saw that article too, Dan. One thing that stood out to me was and I don't know if it's always been this way, but it's the first time I really paid attention to it, though, was the bonus structure. I mean, they can make like 40% in some cases of their roster, their salary in a bonus also if they make it, if they win the Big Ten championship and win the whole thing.
Yeah, I was joking with our guys. I said, I think we should get a 35% bonus if they win a national championship.
How'd that go down?
Yeah, I mean, must be pretty nice to be able to think about it. I mean, you think about that for Matt Patricia. I mean, he could make an extra $1 million if they win the national championship. And so, yeah, the bonus structure certainly is very rewarding for coaches if you make a deep run in the college football playoff. And, you know, that's the thing when you think about what they made last year, you know, that base number was over $11 million. But when you actually do the math on it, they actually made a lot more than that because all those coaches hit that, you know, 35% bonus for winning a national championship.
Yeah, I think the sound effect in Vegas is ding, 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 ding. But man, what a way to have to earn it, right? I mean, that's the big thing. And like you said, I mean, back in the old days, quality control guys, graduate assistants, they made nothing, hardly anything, if anything. And now they're even in the double, the 5-figure range, you know, most of them and stuff. And some of them getting up there close to the 6 figures. I wanted to ask you this. You had a story about this earlier last week or late the week before. The Carlos Lachlan, Oregon, trying to claw back more, what's that called? A penalty from Carlos Lachlan for leaving his contract with Oregon and stuff. Is there an update on that? I mean, do you expect Oregon, I think, wants $400,000. I think the Carlos Lachlan people had offered $200,000. What's the latest on that? The buyout, that's the deal. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard any more on it since then, but yeah, there seems to really be a discrepancy basically in terms of how much he actually owes Oregon back. Where him and his attorneys are taking the stance that he only owed, basically a third of what his salary was, and they're arguing that he owes 2/3 of it, and I think a lot of it stems back to the fact that that was not the cleanest divorce there. Much like Tony Alford's divorce from Ohio State was certainly not the cleanest divorce. When you leave a team in the middle of spring practice, there's probably going to be some hard feelings, and I think that's what this stems from ultimately at the end of the day is, if he had left, in the off season or something and it was, maybe handled a different way, this probably isn't coming to this. But I think, because of the timing of it, there were some hard feelings on both sides that have led to this.
Hey, real quick before you go, Dan, you cover Ohio State as well, if not better than anybody. Your favorite to be the starting quarterback against Texas on August 30th is?
I'd have to go Julian Sayin.
Wait a minute. That's a surprise. Go ahead now.
No, I do believe it's a real competition, and I really do. I think there's people out there who maybe don't believe that it is. I do believe it's a real competition. I think the fact that Ryan Day came out this past week and said Lincoln was ahead of Julian going into the spring game, that's telling. The portal's closed now. It's a lot of times it's kind of like the spring you're trying to massage it to not let guys in the portal, but portal's closed now. You're going to have both those guys. So for him to say that, I think was really sending a message to Julian that, hey, you gotta still earn it here in camp. I think he did what he needed to do in the spring game to get the momentum back on his side. But I think that the message is clear that Julian in those first few weeks of camp, he's still got to prove that he's ready to be that guy.
Dan, you deserve the 35% bump if they win the title again, with all the extra work you have to do. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Sure thing. Thanks for having me, guys.
That was Dan Hope, 11 Warriors, joining us on the Bryant Heating and Cooling System fan guest hotline, pining for a 35% bonus potentially. It is more work, right?
Well, absolutely, it's more work, buddy. I mean, you gotta fill it up every day, as we used to say in the newspaper business, and we did get a nice trip to the West Coast or whatever, but most of the time you're working. So everybody.
You flew private though.
Everybody has a different take on. But then finally near the end we weren't. But the point is, everybody has a different take on what media does. But unless you've been in the media for an extended period, you have no idea how boring sometimes it gets, but also how tedious it gets.
Coming up next, the Buckeyes lost out on a big recruit. That's next. Fan Sports Sunday on the Fan.
Wake up with the Fan. Eat lunch with the Fan. Go to bed with the Fan. Dream about the Fan. Then change your sheets. Gross.
Ew, you guys are gross, but stick around in case I don't find anyone else.
The Fan.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. What if you could bank that equity right now? With Truehold, you can sell your home for its current value, so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. Truehold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since Truehold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit Truehold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours, based on its current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, as Care grew over the years, you had many opportunities to sell Care to one of the big conglomerates that are buying companies all over Central Ohio. So tell our customers why you decided to keep Care in the family.
After talking about Care's values for over 30 years, I couldn't bear the thought of Care becoming the kind of company I was warning our customers about. I know the two of you will continue to treat our customers as I would, with honesty and integrity.
We will, Dad. In 2024, Care was awarded a BBB Torch Award for Ethics and was named the Lennox Partner of the Year. You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
Hey folks, it's Austin Ward here with a challenge. Well, a challenge might not be the best choice of words, so let's say an opportunity. Take the opportunity to lose 40 by the 4th with Awaken 180. Has a different ring to it when you have a finish line, doesn't it? 40 by the 4th. Maybe you looked at the scale this morning and it read 230 pounds. How about it reading 190 by the 4th of July? Maybe the scale says 300. Wouldn't the 260 number be a little nicer on your eyes and on your knees? It's attainable if you have the same results we all had with Awaken 180. I dropped 40 pounds in just 8 weeks. There's no reason you can't drop 40 by the 4th and be feeling as great as I still do now. Ring Independence Day in healthy, confident, and most important, feeling happy. You reached your goal with the help of Awaken 180. So fire up your grill and grab your beverage of choice because the weight's staying off thanks to free support for life. 40 by the 4th. Set your goal and reach it. Reserve your consultation online at awaken180weightloss.com.
After an audit of our programming, the suits here at The Fan decided we needed more baseball. And that common man is stupid. Good news, we fixed one of those problems. Catch the Reds on The Fan all season long. Yay, baseball!
We've discovered the perfect morning ritual, the 2 for $6 breakfast sandwich deal at Tim Hortons. Every sandwich is made to order with a freshly cracked egg and melty cheese, just the way breakfast should be. Choose between savory sausage or hickory smoked bacon, served on a toasted English muffin or flaky biscuit. There's no wrong way to mix and match this tasty deal. 2 breakfast sandwiches, just $6. Perfect. Only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, single item at regular menu price. Modifications and tax extra. Exclusions and additional terms apply.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Sick of the long security lines and flight delays? Travel on your terms. Go RVing and get ready to save at RCD RV's Open House. From May 3rd through the 10th, take advantage of huge deals on new and pre-owned RVs. Our Delaware, Heath, and Pataska locations will feature exclusive sale pricing on all new and pre-owned travel trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes with special financing rates available, plus discounts on camping accessories. Come by today. We'll have your road ready by Memorial Day. Find unbeatable savings, unforgettable fun, and everything you need to hit the road at rcdrv.com.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks, and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
1-877 Cars for Kids. K-A-R-S Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Ohio Heating and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Tito and Tafir are so dedicated to their craft, they slept in the studios last night. Or they were too hungover. Whatever. It's Fan Sports Sunday.
All right, Fan Sports Sunday. Thank you to Dan Hope and the Last Segment for joining us from 11 Warriors. Great info from him. Tim, Elbert Hill, cornerback from Akron. He's from Archbishop Hoban. And in some cases, he's a 5-star, some a 4-star. Some people say he's the best player in Ohio this year, best high school player. I don't know if that's true or not. There's some, you make arguments either way on that one, I guess. But he decided to commit to USC over schools like Oregon, Alabama. I think Ohio State had some interest in him, but I'm not sure. He's the second 5-star commit to
what a list
to USC and just recently in this past few days. And the headline always comes out that whenever the state of Ohio, one of the better players or one of the higher rated players by the recruiting systems leaves and does not come to Ohio State, it comes out as a big deal in Ohio. Is this one a significant miss for Ohio State?
Well, anytime a guy's rated that highly, it it is a miss, if that's the word you want to use, or a guy you didn't get. You don't get to sign everybody. It's a rule. But the bottom line, he's a smallish guy.
Right.
Number one, he's like, I think the last time I saw him listed, he's like 5'10", 5'11", like 185. Some people had him still listed at 175. You never know, But the bottom line is, you watch him on video, he's got skill, man. He's got big time skill and stuff. But you just, with Ohio State now, they've been really good. Matter of fact, pretty much since I've been covering Ohio State, they've been pretty good about rolling with the punch and moving on. And there'll be somebody else they'll go after, and also you always have the transfer portal to look into if, in fact, some guys become available. But yeah, I mean, when a guy's rated that highly, you like to have him sign with you if, in fact, he fits all of the bill. Now, something came along with USC over the last couple of months. It really turned his head towards Southern California, and exactly what that is, except for him saying it felt like home. Oh, I'm just wondering if he's actually been to USC's campus. Right. But that's another story for another day. But it is what it is at this point. So you don't cry really over spilt milk and whatever other cliche you want to throw in there.
Yeah, I mean, Ohio State's was just fine. If you look at the talent in their room already,
their secondary this year is about as deep as it can get from a talent standpoint, in my opinion. They're losing Lathan Ransom, obviously, and Denzel Burke, but man, even Matt Patricia, he relishes what he's got to work with, what the team has to work with in that secondary room, which is led, of course, by Tim Walton.
Right. Yeah. So they'll be just fine, and. They have found – I saw this thing the other day too, Tim, that I think it was ESPN ranked the top 10 transfer portal hauls in this most recent cycle. And Ohio State not on the list, not surprising, but I got to believe it's a list Ohio State would probably prefer never to be on, right? I mean, they want to have enough talent on hand and enough to where they can pick and choose a few guys. Something like Texas Tech went out and got a bunch of them. I think somebody else, there was another school I saw, got like 32 transfers.
Yeah.
But Ohio State never wants to be in that situation.
Well, look at West Virginia. How many players West Virginia has lost? They've got to fill those spots, man. You got to have bodies. But the most significant thing I think about USC and Elbert Hill and that whole phenomenon is USC's having a hellacious start to their 2026 class,
right?
Which means, the sleeping giant is awakening, so to speak, for want of another term, and that to me is more significant than just one single player. But of course, you build it with building blocks, and Elbert Hill is one of their building blocks. But because it gives you not just a really good player, but it gives you bragging rights, in Ohio. I mean, It gives you regionally around the country because, clearly USC, if it just wanted to build a football team with Southern California talent, it could do that. But when they reach out and go elsewhere, like Alabama does, like Georgia does, like Ohio State does, it shows that you still have some reach like Notre Dame does, and it's significant. But it's also significant in the expanded Big Ten for USC to be a player.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're coming along in that regard.
They're absolutely, they're one of the I'm starting to think that they may have Dallas Cowboys stash, like a team that everyone's going to talk about, being, this could be the year. They could turn around. And then they.
No, it's a great analogy.
I think that's what it is. I think it used to be Notre Dame, and now Notre Dame's kind of gotten over that hump.
And they're getting tired of hearing about Oregon. Everybody's getting tired of a little bit about Oregon, because Oregon does have that's why it was really significant this past week. When Ohio State, when Ross Bjork admitted Ohio State had a probably an NIL responsibility of a little over $20 million or something for last year.
Right.
I was telling everybody, boy, if everybody would just fess up on what their NIL.
Yeah.
Everybody'd be laughing at what Ohio State didn't spend, because I know there are other schools in the country that spend more than that if you put all of the anecdotes together and stuff. But now all of a sudden you look at Texas having a $35 to $40 million budget, so to speak, for the coming year. It's really opening people's eyes to, well, Ohio State got that run because, number one, ESPN is a big machine about making the SEC look good, and maybe the Big Ten not look so good now since it's partial. But then the fact that yes, everybody should be open on what those NIL numbers are. Don't hold your breath on that.
Yep.
Forget about revenue sharing. NIL is still going to rule the day.
It sure is, yes. And, the Texas thing, a Houston Chronicle report came out saying that was Texas's budget, $35 to $40 million for the upcoming season. You're right. I wish we could get all that information on every school. At least right now, we're not going to. Who knows in the changing college football landscape if we will ever be privy to the real numbers on those things if they branch off into a
salary
super
cap,
conference.
baby.
Yeah,
Salary cap.
No one wants a salary cap. No player does, that's for certain. All right, coming up next week, call up anything going on right now and later today. That's next on Fan Sports Sunday on The Fan.
Oh, hey, the best football team in the country's on the best radio station in the country. Congratulations, Buckeyes. Here's to 100 more years together. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Spring weather has arrived, and we all know what that brings. Warmer weather and severe storms. Well, when bad weather hits, we all know it can cause leaky roofs or even damage to your siding and gutters. The Roofing Guys are your local experts in roofing, siding, and gutters and more, providing top quality through every roof, every time. So it's just a small repair, full replacement, or even peace of mind. You need to contact my guys, the Roofing Guys, 614-626-7000, or visit them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. What if you could bank that equity right now? With Truehold, you can sell your home for its current value, so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. Truehold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since Truehold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit Truehold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours, based on its current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Individual results may vary. Consult a doctor prior to use.
You've lost so much weight. How'd you do it?
I got medical treatment for weight loss through Zelty and lost 50 pounds. I struggled for the longest time, but Zelty makes it easy and affordable to get weight loss treatment 100% online. Zelty providers can prescribe FDA-approved weight loss medications clinically shown to help people lose weight, like Wegovy, Zepbound, and others.
I've heard those medications can help you lose weight, but aren't they expensive?
Zelty can help get the medication covered by insurance, so it's as little as $0 a month.
What if you don't have insurance?
No problem. Zelty may be able to help you get other GLP-1 medications for 80 to 90% off the price of name brand medications.
I'm ready to start losing weight. How do I get started with Zelty?
Just text.
Text LOSE to 200-300 to get started today with Zelty and see if weight loss medications like Wegovy and Zepbound are right for you. Don't wait. Text now for a link to your exclusive offer. Text LOSE to 200-300. That's LOSE to 200-300. LOSE to 200-300.
Need a new heating or cooling system? Booking a free in-home estimate with Logan Services is easier than ever. In just minutes, you can schedule your appointment on our website. It's fast, simple, and hassle-free. Book a time that works best for you. We offer appointments throughout the week and on weekends. And next-day installation is available now. When you need help, we're here for you. We're the home of fast, friendly service, Logan Services.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Jacob Reimer. We are set up for a loaded day in sports on this Sunday. Starting in baseball, the Reds go for the series win today in the rubber match against the Washington Nationals. Nick Martinez will get the ball for the Redlegs. First pitch is at 4:10 with coverage right here on the Fan starting at 3:40. Same for the Guardians, who split the first two with the Blue Jays across the border. They're just getting started up in Toronto, all nutted up at 0 in the second inning. We have the greatest two words in sports, Game 7. A pair of them today in the NBA and Stanley Cup playoffs. The Warriors look to avoid blowing a 3-1 lead to the Rockets. Tip-off from Houston is at 8:30. The winner will meet the Minnesota Timberwolves in the next round. While on the ice, the Jets host the Blues in the winner-take-all in Winnipeg at 7 o'clock. And the Cavs begin their Eastern Conference semis matchup tonight as they welcome in the Indiana Pacers. Tip-off of Game 1 is at 6 o'clock. Breaking sports news when it happens on the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Are you Still in your pajamas? We are. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
A minor correction, Reimer. What did you say were the two best words in sports?
Game 7.
It's actually Buckeyes win.
Okay.
All right. Am I a homer?
My apologies.
Am I a homer? Yes.
Maybe a little.
Yes. Buckeyes win. Game 7's fun, though. That's a good, you're right. That is good. Yes, we do have some Game 7s going on today. We had, obviously last night, boy, Denver just destroyed the Clippers, 120-101. And for those of you who might not remember, right before the regular season ended, Denver fired their head coach and GM, Calvin Booth from Groveport. Yes?
Yeah.
Calvin Booth was the GM out there.
Well,
and they fired their coach as well. And now they advanced the second round of the NBA playoffs. There we go. Got it that time, didn't I? It took me 3 tries, but I got the word playoffs out. They'll play Oklahoma City next. Yeah, right. Tonight at 8:30, Warriors in Houston for a Game 7 against the Rockets. Every year, when it gets this point in time, Tim, with especially like the Warriors now, you were saying something about LeBron before maybe, but they don't have many shots left at winning a title or playing for a title.
Mm-hmm.
And every time they get
to present company.
Yeah. Right, yeah, the Curry, the Draymond Green, and now I guess Jimmy Butler, but the Steve Kerr, that whole conglomeration there of people, the conglomerate of people.
Conglomeration.
Yeah, conglomerate of people. Sorry. Yeah. Anyway, it's been a rough start for me this hour. Let's start. This isn't live, is it?
A basketball team
you
can
want me to do the update again?
Is it live?
A basketball team can be a conglomeration. It can be an abomination.
You're right.
It can be all kinds of things.
That's, yeah. Anyway, the winner plays a 6 seed Minnesota in the NBA playoffs. Indiana and Cleveland game 1 of their Eastern Conference semis tonight at 6 o'clock. NHL, Dallas defeated Colorado in game 7. They overcame a 2-goal deficit, scored 4 straight goals in the final 12-11 of the game tonight at 7. St. Louis and Winnipeg play game 7. They might have me off Fan Sports Sunday here in a couple weeks.
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg.
like that.
Lacrosse
it was me at the top of the last hour, and now it's you at this one.
You know what the mayor of Winnipeg just said? Why didn't we think of that?
Yeah, Winnipeg would have been great. OSU Lacrosse won their first ever Big Ten tournament, 14-10 over Maryland. Big Tasty Caleb Fyack had 19 saves for the Buckeyes, named most outstanding player of the game. They also now get the automatic bid to the 18-team NCAA tournament. The tournament draw announced tonight. And Nick Myers is going to join us at the bottom of the hour.
Yes.
If he still wants to come on after I've just blown up the show. But he'll be on then later on for we're talking about 2:30 about what that lacrosse team is doing, the head coach of that squad. Reds lost yesterday 11-6. They'll play at 4:10 today. Coverage will be here on the Fan against the Nationals. The Guardians, they defeated the Blue Jays last night 5-3, and they had their first pitch about half an hour ago. And we have no score yet in that game after 2 innings. So we'll keep you posted on that as well. Tim, look.
Hey, don't forget, IndyCar's racing now.
There's certain people that when they're on the shows, they're the ones who will talk about the sports where I probably wouldn't. Usually like with Beamer or T-Bone, it's soccer. With you, I know it's auto racing. So give me an update there.
Yeah, I think the IndyCar race just started down in Alabama, Barbara Motorsports Park, I've been there a couple of times. It's a beautiful place. A beautiful place for a racetrack and stuff. But Alex Palou took the pole yesterday. Alex Palou, the reigning 2-time IndyCar champion, is picking up where he left off last year and stuff. And then, of course, Miami later this afternoon, the Miami Grand Prix with Formula One, where Max Verstappen showed his brilliance again yesterday by stealing the pole. It was unbelievable because this is McLaren's season. It's just nobody has told Max Verstappen he's supposed to step back, and he's one of the few people in the world who definitely will not step back. But I'm really looking forward to watching that race, man. It's almost like watching them drive in a concrete pipeline or something, with the top off of it. As tight as that racetrack is and stuff. But I like my open wheel racing.
When I saw there was a race they held at Las Vegas on the Strip, I was out there before last year, before they were getting ready for it. I remember seeing it all set up and everything. And it reminded me of the Columbus 500. Did you cover that or not?
Oh, yeah. I covered, it was in the middle of football season, which made it kind of inconvenient for me. But the first race there was, 1985. Jim Truman, the late, great founder of Red Roof Inns and then True Sports Racing, was the driving force behind that, along with Alan Wilson, a guy he brought in. But I think it went for four years before it petered out, because street races a lot of times kind of run their course, and but it wasn't what I'd call back then. It was fairly big. It was basically prototype. Yeah, but it was prototype racing. IMSA, along with several other support classes and stuff. It wasn't IndyCar, Formula One, NASCAR, anything like that. But those cars were very exotic. They were cool to watch, and but yeah, it kind of ran its course. And you every year you got to appease the government in one form or another, to keep getting to put on a show, shut down a downtown for that length of time. But I enjoyed that because it brought racing to the masses. Originally it was called the Columbus 500, and then they changed it to something else because it was 500 kilometers.
Oh, was it really?
Not miles, yeah, because 500 miles on a street course would take forever.
Right.
But it was fun to watch the way, especially when they went down Spring Street and Long, and made the U-turn and came back down into downtown and swept up over the river over in front of Central High School. Now now COSI yep. and stuff. I thought it was a pretty intriguing racetrack, and there's some big time names raced in that over those years.
I think the biggest fault they had with that was the fact they kept the traffic lights on, which kept really slowing up the action in the race when you had to stop at a red light.
Right.
Learn mistakes.
Do I adhere to this or not?
Right. Yes. Right.
But most race car drivers drive with blinders on anyway. So, but yeah, it was. They had the just like at Las Vegas 2 years ago, the first race of Las Vegas, they had a manhole cover problem the first year with the Columbus 500, because you have to weld those down, because especially the prototypes generate so much downforce, meaning suction on the bottom of the car. It was pulling those 80-pound manhole covers out of the hole.
Right.
The thing that happened with Carlos Sainz with Ferrari 2 years ago at Vegas was a similar situation, but boy, it ripped into that car. It was crazy. But you get those things figured out. I'm not sure how much Vegas is going to be embracing that race 5 years from now, like it did the last 2 years, because it does get in the way.
It absolutely does, yes. And traffic already is, and not, I'm saying they have to shut down certain things to build certain things.
Yeah, but they go right down Las Vegas
Boulevard.
They do,
yeah, they do.
Right in front of Bellagio, it's cool.
But you still have to, when there's this construction going on of the stands and everything, it does slow things up.
And they cut trees down,
Right,
I mean, a lot of people should have gotten more upset about that maybe than they did, but it is what it is.
Yes. Also, the crew defeated Charlotte 4-2 at lower.com last night in front of more than 20,000 fans. And I got to get out there for a game. You been out there for a game yet?
My wife has been out there for a game. I have not. I mean, for some reason, I have not been out there. My son, older son, and my middle son, I get that mixed up because I have 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl.
Right.
And or 2 men and a woman now. But they've all been out there for games. I told you my 2 grandsons are growing up big-time soccer fans. My 3-year-old grandson informed me last night that he's now changed his favorite player from Holland of Manchester City to Messi. My older grandson, 6 years old, got to go with his dad to see Messi a couple of weeks ago in Cleveland. Remember we were talking about that game?
Yeah.
And totally enjoyed it. Wore his Messi shirt under his Columbus Crew stuff. But yeah, I've not been out there. I wish I had. But last night, pretty good crowd, and it was raining, so that's how you got diehards.
Yes, it wasn't the best of weather out there, but they still found a way to get that many fans out there. It's really cool. The Crew now alone in first place in the MLS, and so we'll keep an eye. They played 11 games, only have 1 loss on their record so far. Yeah. They've got 7 wins, and they've also got 3 draws to this point. And Katie Ledecky broke a record she set 9 years ago, the 800-meter freestyle. She set it 9 years ago and broke the record yesterday in Florida. Good for her on that one. The last time she was 2016 in the Olympics in Italy, I believe. So anyway, coming up next, a former Buckeye got some job security. Will it result in success? We'll do that next. Fan Sports Sunday on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Spring into savings at Ohio Mulch. Get your mulch as easy as ever. Save $50 on home delivery now through Sunday. All you got to do is visit ohiomulch.com today.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply.
Hey Sports Cards fans, I'm Jeff with my buddy Adam, and we run Huggy Kissy Bear breaks on the Whatnot app. What's a card break? Simple. We open boxes of cards live, you pick your team, and we send you all the hits. With over 2,300 5-star reviews, we're all about you. New to card breaks? No sweat. We've got you covered with a sweet welcome package from us. Download the Whatnot app and follow us on Instagram and TikTok to view all of our past Sugar Bear hits. Huggy Kissy Bear breaks, where collectors win big.
Legend has it, underneath the NJM insurance offices lies a room of rejected mascot memorabilia. Is it real? No one knows. But we do know NJM is proud to put policyholders first. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance.
Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
We've discovered the perfect morning ritual, the 2 for $6 breakfast sandwich deal at Tim Hortons. Every sandwich is made to order with a freshly cracked egg and melty cheese, just the way breakfast should be. Choose between savory sausage or hickory smoked bacon, served on a toasted English muffin or flaky biscuit. There's no wrong way to mix and match this tasty deal. 2 breakfast sandwiches, just $6. Perfect. Only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, single item at regular menu price. Modifications and tax extra. Exclusions and additional terms apply.
We can come the day you call us.
We're 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Brian, I've been meaning to ask you something.
Okay, ask away.
Sometimes when we're talking, I hear a little sparkling sound.
Is it when one of us says, all you have to do is point?
There it is. Did you hear that?
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic? Like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. What if you could bank that equity right now? With Truehold, you can sell your home for its current value, so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. Truehold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since Truehold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit Truehold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours, based on its current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Join Rothman and Ice every Thursday at 2:30 for Gold Jacket Thursday.
Presented by the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
A new Hall of Famer joins the show every week, but not OJ because he's dead and probably a murderer. The Fan.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Get an Eco.
ECO.
Aaron, I love that we fix ACs for free.
I don't think we do that, Jerry.
Get an Eco.
ECO.
Stay with me, Aaron. I'm going to explain to you how it works.
You're going to explain to me how my own invention works?
Get an Eco.
ECO.
Step 1. Some other HVAC company tells a customer that they need a whole new system.
Yes.
And then they call us.
They can always call us, Jerry.
Get an Eco.
ECO.
And then we repair their system for free.
No, then they pay us.
But we give the money back, right?
We give them back all the money they paid us to fix their old system when they finally do need a new one.
Up to $1,500, right?
Right.
Aaron, we're fixing HVAC systems for free.
Get an Eco.
ECO.
We extend the life of their system.
That's right.
Those extra years are free. On me.
Get an Eco.
ECO.
Eco. Plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians. GetEco.com.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Sick of the long security lines and flight delays? Travel on your terms. Go RVing and get ready to save at RCD RV's Open House. From May 3rd through the 10th, take advantage of huge deals on new and pre-owned RVs. Our Delaware, Heath, and Pataska locations will feature exclusive sale pricing on all new and pre-owned travel trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes with special financing rates available, plus discounts on camping accessories. Come by today. We'll have your road ready by Memorial Day. Find unbeatable savings, unforgettable fun, and everything you need to hit the road at rcdrv.com.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We're tracking the chance for a few showers and storms this afternoon with highs in the mid-60s. And then for tonight, the chance of showers and storms early on. Otherwise, cooling down to the upper 40s here overnight. By Monday, we'll see another chance for a few showers and storms, especially for the afternoon with highs into the 60s. And that chance of rain will continue on Tuesday before we finally see drier conditions and more sunshine with highs in the 70s on Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Aaron White with your 10 weather impact forecast here on 97.1 The Fan.
If your idea of the perfect radio show is all Buckeyes all the time, then it's your lucky day, Slappy, the Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan. You're listening to The Fan. It's Sunday. We're a sports station, and we shall call it Fan Sports Sunday.
That's the kind of creative minds we have running around here at The Fan, calling our show Fan Sports Sunday. I'm going to lead in, before we talk about Luke Fickell, I'm going to lead in with this real quick, Tim. I do not mean this in any way related to Luke Fickell. It's just something I saw on CBS Sports where they ranked college football's 15 worst coaching hires of the past decade. And there are several names on here related to the Big Ten. Now, like Nick Rolovich from Washington State's on there, but he wasn't in the Big Ten when that happened. So here's the ones that were in the Big Ten when these hirings and firings happened. At number 13 on the list is Scott Frost at Nebraska. At number 11, Mel Tucker, Michigan State. At number 7, Mike Riley out at Nebraska. And at number 3, Ryan Walters at Purdue. Out of those 4, does one stand out to you as probably the worst hire in the last decade in the Big Ten?
Yeah, because I would probably say Ryan Walters.
Okay.
Just because he kind of caught everybody a little bit by surprise. Mel Tucker, he got some things done at Michigan State until things went upside down on him.
He's the only guy I think that's listed at a winning record. Well, actually, Jimmy Edwards didn't.
Right.
Jimmy Lake did, I'm sorry, in
but,
1 year.
But
yeah.
Mel Tucker was one of the first guys to really, truly embrace the transfer portal and what it could mean to a team in an instant. If you call a football season instant rice.
Mm-hmm.
It showed what it could mean to a football team. It also could show how a football team the next year would have to almost do the same thing all over again,
Chris Ash
on the same play.
Did I say Chris Ash? I did say that one. He went 8-32 at Rutgers.
Chris Ash was interesting because a lot of us questioned that one, only not because we don't like Chris Ash and him being a quality coach, but what was the tie-in? Greg Schiano made all kinds of sense for Rutgers before. And, of course, you've seen what he's done since he's returned. He's returned respectability to that program because he knows the school, knows the state, knows what they're all about, and is a no-nonsense kind of dude who builds a program the right way, for want of another term. So, Chris Ash, so I would put that one on that list only because I don't think the school knew what it was doing.
Right. Yep.
But most of the time, that's how these guys get hired, and it's usually somebody within the school, whether it's the athletic director or the president, the powers that be, who sometimes aren't either one of those two guys,
right?
Putting their foot down. I want this guy. The real tragedy for a football program was watching how Nebraska tried to distance itself from Tom Osborne, and before that Bob Devaney, but with Tom Osborne, when they went out and hired what was his name, Callahan.
Bill Callahan, the former Raiders coach. Yep.
Yes. A totally foreign, in all kinds of ways move that didn't make sense. I think the guy that was the recruiting coordinator for John Cooper here at Ohio State, Peterson, was the athletic director then. He was going to put his own imprint.
Right.
We're moving away from this 3 yards in a cloud of dust kind of approach to football. We're going to go wide open. You're going to love it. And it still hasn't come back.
No, they haven't back at all. That's why they've been robbing money from the Big Ten.
They played for a Big Ten championship when Bo Pelini was there once, but they still haven't come back. And whether they're back now remains to be seen. But, I think they do have a good coach. Matt Rule, I think, is a hell of a college football coach. But you still got to get players to show up there and stay there.
Okay, you mentioned the Nebraska thing with the way they went against what they had been in the past.
Mike Riley's a great example.
Right. And so I talk about that now because I think that Fickell at Wisconsin had kind of a similar thing there. Now, he just got a year added onto his contract. So I think he's hired through 2031-32 season, whatever. But he's been 12-13 over 2 seasons. Missed a bowl game this past season, the first time since 2001. And when he came in, remember, he wanted that air raid kind of offense type thing. He wanted to really open it up and everything.
Change things.
Right. Now, most coaches don't get a chance to change back. They're usually gone by then, right? By the time you decide they're so, but Fickell, though, has embraced this now and said that he wants to have a more traditional Wisconsin team. He said that last year, he said physically the second half of the season we couldn't hold up, and I mean that in particular on the defensive front. It's a grown man's league. If you don't have grown men, it's going to be really, really difficult. So he's going back to more, not exclusively, but going back to more of a tough, physical offensive and defensive lines right there in the trenches and try to run the ball more. Now, whenever we think about Wisconsin players, we think about running backs, usually on the offensive side of the ball. It's Taylor, it's Ball, it's who's the big guy who went to the Giants? The
guy who won the Heisman Trophy.
Ron Dane.
Ron Dane.
So, you think about that usually, but they kind of got away from that. But Fickell's now saying we've got to get back to more of that.
But, college football, I think people are paying attention. It is always evolving. And that doesn't mean it's always sometimes it's devolving, whatever your term, but it's changing all the time because once somebody gets an edge, like running the wishbone or something, then you start recruiting defensively to stop that. That was a spread offense. You know? I mean, spread offense has been around forever, really. But the point is the best defensive line in college football last year won the national championship. It was Ohio State. They had the tough guys in the middle, the tough guys, good guys on the edges, great guys on the edges. And that's, we have gone back now to, I'm not sure totally left, but gone back to now, you got to win in the trenches. That's what differentiates. We were talking in the break about this. This one hadn't even come up, but I was bringing it up when I watched people throwing the football at tailgates and stuff before an Ohio State game. I go, that's about as far into what real football is as you can get, unless you're talking 7-on-7.
Yeah,
because the 11-on-11, and he's right. You got to bring it in the trenches on both sides of the ball. Wisconsin, I'm not sure no coach ever wants to see his offensive line room deteriorate. But sometimes it happens because reputation gets around that you're going this direction, so we're not going to get Joe Thomas anymore. You know what I mean? Well, baloney. Everybody's looking for Joe Thomas,
right,
to walk in the door, or Orlando Pace. But it takes a while to turn that ship around. And I think Wisconsin hired Luke Fickell with the idea he was going to bring a little bit of a different look.
Yeah,
and it hasn't worked so far. He's been through a few coordinators. And we'll see where he goes from there. But once you commit to that head coach, we think he's got the wherewithal. He's had some rough patches. They did play Oregon extremely well at home last year.
Right.
And ended up firing their offensive coordinator, the next day or day after that.
Right, yeah.
But they had quarterback problems last year. They lost their starting quarterback in the Alabama game, which was unfortunate. But the bottom line is, if you see snippets of what you think it can be, you've got to commit to them now, because you can't just keep firing coaches every 2 or 3 years. And I know that's basic 101 stuff, but a lot of people don't get that. So, we all know Luke Fickell, what he did at Cincinnati. He learned a hard lesson when he was the head coach at Ohio State for 1 year in 2011.
Right.
Didn't get to hire his staff. He did get to hire one guy, a guy named Mike Vrabel.
Right.
Who's gone on to fame and fortune. But now you see what he can do, because sometimes you got to get your, Cincinnati should never be confused with Wisconsin.
This year, by the way, Wisconsin plays at Alabama. They're at Michigan.
Return game.
Yes, they host Ohio State and play at Oregon. So it'll be a tough road there. But they mentioned this in the ESPN article, Pete Thamel's article about it.
But that's not their whole schedule.
No, it's not. Those are tough ones. So other than that, it's pretty manageable, I think, for them. But in Fickell, he asked Fickell how much it bothers him how much it bothered him that the team, the way Fickell played. You know Fickell better than I do. I know a little bit of him, but you more than I. He is an in the trenches, tough-nosed, win that way, and then to see his team
not play that way.
Got to be tough for him.
Of course it is, because you're recruiting. You're recruiting. You're looking in the transfer portal. You're trying to get those guys that are going to give you that.
Yeah.
Like Ty Hamilton. Ty Hamilton, just like his brother Devon, both of them developed at Ohio State. They weren't necessarily that great when they first showed up, but they both have been drafted, And my point is, you got to get those guys that just, man, when it's down and dirty, those guys are going to come up and give you their all and stuff. And I'm getting fired up here because I'm trying to convey what the middle of the offensive and defensive lines are really all about. It's a place where most people would not want to tread.
Right.
But for a guy like Luke Fickell, who played the Rose Bowl with a torn pec muscle.
It's amazing, yes.
Against Arizona State, and played his rear end off, asked for no quarter and got none. Yes, it's got to drive you nuts when you see your defensive front especially not playing to that level. Because finally, football comes down to you got to score points, and you got to be able to stop somebody else from scoring points at crunch time. That's why last year with Ohio State, those goal line stands they had became their. It's hard to believe a trademark of a defense can be goal line stands. Because how many times do you see one, much less 4 or 5? Ohio State fans were treated to that. We'll see if Ohio State can replicate that in some form or fashion this year. But, yes, you want it. But it's also interesting that people are hiring and firing understand what your quest is and that you're sincere about getting there. Obviously, that's what Wisconsin thinks. You can't just change coaches like you change – pants.
I was going to say, and I think that
I was going to say underwear, but we probably shouldn't say that.
Don't say underwear. We're not going to say underwear. But you can't say Winnipeg. The fact, though, that I think coaches now have they're given more rope because it is
But are they?
I think they are, because there's like with the big name coaches, I think so, because the higher paid coaches, it costs so much to buy them out because you got to give guaranteed money to get them. So now it costs so much. And would you rather take money out of like this pot of money you give the players to buy out a coach?
Oh yeah,
would you rather where do you want to do the money though? So that's why I think that coaches get more.
Isn't it funny how you've got this sand out there and you've been spraying water on it? I'm talking about voluntarily, which is NCAA schools.
Right.
And then you realize what you've created is quicksand. I'm not sure quicksand even comes from water, but you understand what I'm saying. A swamp. And now you're having to pay players now out of your coffers. You're going to be having to you're paying coaches now. And it's sometime or another, you got to draw the line where, you know what? What is a head coach truly worth?
Right.
Well, we're about at that inflection point, I think, in major college sports, because bottom line is what you're going to find, 10 years from now is you got to have damn good coaches. You got to have the program running like Ryan Day's got Ohio State running right now.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is if you don't have Woody Hayes wrote the book, You Win with People, man. You got to have those guys coming in the front door. And it's going to be interesting. We just talked about Ohio State's assistant coaches' salaries, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to be talking about from the standpoint of what are you paying players 10 years from now?
Hey,
because they ultimately decide the coach's fate.
Lincoln Riley's buyout, I believe, is $88 million.
See, but you signed that contract.
Yeah, you signed the contract. Yeah, so you had to give him that to get him.
You should not gripe about something that you agreed to,
right?
Even if it wasn't you, even if it was your successor as the president or AD of that school. Hey, it's under your name, So that's what I'm saying. There will be inflection point is what I'm calling it, but there will be reflection on a lot of this stuff, because what you're finding out is there are very few miracle workers.
Yeah.
When it comes to instant miracle workers, when it comes to head coaches, there are a lot of talented people out there, and give them a shot.
Coming up next here in 2 minutes, OSU lacrosse coach Nick Myers joins us on the heels of the Buckeyes winning their first Big Ten tournament championship. That's next. Fan Sports Sunday on the Fan.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, you're the Carfax guy.
The Carfax from Carfax.
Wow.
And you, sir, work at Tire Discounters.
I sure do.
The Carfax top-rated service center.
Oh, right. You know, a lot of that's because of our services. But people think we're just about tires.
Maybe it's your name.
Yeah.
Tire Discounters. And your jingle.
Oh, you like it?
I think it needs something.
Yeah? Like what?
Hit it. Plus brakes, oil changes, shocks, and struts, and more. Now that speaks to me.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. I know firsthand what it's like to battle through joint pain. After years of the hard hits and the wear and tear on the field, I thought pain, it was just going to be something I had to live with. Let me tell you, that's no longer the case thanks to QC Kinetics. For over 8 years, QC Kinetics has been leading the charge nationwide in non-surgical joint pain relief, helping over 50,000 patients get back to doing what they love, pain-free. Whether it's your knees, back, hips, shoulders, you pick it. If joint pain's been slowing you down, you need to hear about what Dr. Aaron Walkoff and his team in Columbus are doing. They're using cutting-edge regenerative medicine, natural biologic treatments with powerful healing properties to repair and restore damaged joint tissue. No surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. Just real results. The kind of treatment I wish I had access to during my playing days, and now you do. Imagine this summer playing around at golf, chasing the kids, and just enjoying a walk without the pain. Go to qckinetics.com/Columbus or call 380-228-4544. They now have offices in Grove City and Canal Winchester.
Beds are us. When dreams don't get in, beds are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
Beds are us. When dreams don't get in, beds are us.
1, 2, 3. Here in the Van is always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. The Fan. Coffee? These guys don't need coffee. They're jacked on life and Buckeye football. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
It is Fan Sports Sunday. Yes, we are hooked on Buckeye football, but today, right now, we are hooked on OSU men's lacrosse. Coach Nick Myers joins us on the Brian Heating Cooling System Fan Guest Hotline. The Ohio State Buckeyes fresh off a victory 14-10 over Maryland. Coach, thanks for the time. We appreciate it. Have you slept yet?
Thanks for having me, Ben. We got in about 3 a.m. last night, and I'm actually just leaving the office now. So our men have graduation today, and we're getting ready for the selection show tonight.
Yeah. Hey, Nick, this is Tim May. I was just wondering, are you on pins and needles about the selection show, or do you have a sense you guys are probably going to host? I mean, what's your sense right now of it all?
Yeah, no pins and needles. No, just grateful. We punched our ticket. We took the chance out of it with the AQ last night, and we'll be hosting a game this weekend, our first ever. Second time hosting back in 2013, Tim. You remember we hosted in the Shoe. We beat 1,000 that year.
Yeah.
But this will be our first time in the new stadium, and tickets will go on sale Monday at 10 a.m., and they'll sell out probably in about an hour or two. So Buckeyes that are listening to this, be ready to rock and roll. We want that stadium full of scarlet, and we're excited. It'll either be Saturday or Sunday. We'll find out who and what time at 9:30 tonight.
Wow, 9:30 tonight. That's an interesting time, right, to make an announcement. Of course, that's 6:30 Pacific, so there you go. I wanted to ask you this, man. When I said pins and needles, I just meant, more on who you're going to play, but or will you host? But I'm like you said, it's a guarantee y'all are going to host at this point. And what a magnificent new stadium! It's funny how things come around in a program, right, Nick? But as you're standing there last night, after you got doused with water or Gatorade or whatever beverage that was, what was running through your mind from the standpoint of where where this program has come? Because first Big Ten regular season title this year, followed up by the first Big Ten tournament title last night and stuff. But I would think there's all kinds of things of like thinking of the future and reflection all at the same time, right?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, Tim, and you've been one of the men that really just goes above and beyond in terms of covering the Buckeyes, and have always been great to us, and we're grateful for that. 2015 was the start of Big Ten lacrosse, so I've been a Buckeye since 2001, but 2015 was a pretty big moment where the creation of the Big Ten Conference was made in lacrosse, and we've been chasing this moment ever since. And Maryland has really been the standard, in my opinion, for the last 10 years. And we've had, several one-goal losses. Obviously, our national championship bid in 2017 fell 3 goals short to Maryland. And so I think to do it in Ann Arbor, last year we hosted it. And when we built the stadium, our stadium, as you mentioned, it was for moments like this. And last year we were the host, and I came in the day after the championship game and picked up fireworks off our field, after Team Up North had won. And I made a commitment to myself that night that we were going to make that right. Wow. And I think to do it in Ann Arbor with this group of men, a really great, incredible coaching staff and a great group of men, felt really good. And I think that, for us now, it's the opportunity to host an NCAA tournament game in our stadium and just continue to look ahead. We got 1 goal left. We've knocked down our competitive goals. We got 1 big one left, and you just got to chip away 1 game at a time, and we'll find out who that is tonight.
Yeah, look, Caleb Fick, your goalie, Big Tasty, he mentioned that on the Big Ten Network last night. He looked at it. He was excited about winning it, and he was named the most valuable or the most outstanding player of the Big Ten tournament. But like he called it a stepping stone, right? I mean, you want to get to that national championship if you can and stuff. But just talk about Big Tasty a little bit and what it means to have a guy like that in goal. It's kind of like hockey to a certain extent, right? I mean, you got to have that guy, that stopper, and what he's meant, and then go from there with a couple of guys that you had 5 players with multiple goals last night. That's crazy, when you think about it. But start with Big Tasty, what he's meant to this program, this surge.
Yeah, no, listen, when we recruited Caleb, he was the number 1 goalie in the country. We knew we landed someone really special, a difference maker. He started for us last year as a true freshman in the Big Ten, which is incredibly challenging, and he's taken a massive step in year 2. I think Caleb came here with the intent of bringing a national championship to Columbus. We don't shy away from that talk. We have not done that yet, but that is absolutely a goal that we stated at the beginning of the year, and the men understand it's beating the team up north. It's the Creators Trophy. It's the Big Ten regular and tournament championships, and then a national title. And so those are laid out pretty clearly early on, and then we get back to the process of what it's going to take to do that. And so having a goalie like Caleb back there, what I think it really does, Tim, is it gives you a little bit of flexibility to settle in. Last night offensively, I was really proud. We had 9 goals in the first half from 8 different scorers. And so we're pretty balanced on the offense when we're playing at our best. And defensively, we're sound. But, last night Maryland's really tough, and they had some gaps. They had some pretty good looks. And when Caleb can steal a couple, it really gives your defense and, quite frankly, the whole team a ton of confidence.
Oh, yeah.
That we can kind of weather those storms when you got Caleb back there. So, yeah, right now, candidly, I think he's playing as well as any player in the country. I think that he's a guy that we're going to need to continue to lean into to have success in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, Nick Myers, Ohio State lacrosse men's lacrosse coach, joins us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Buckeyes coming off a 14-10 win over Maryland in Ann Arbor last night to win the Big Ten tournament. And you talk about a guy like Caleb, and also just the overall performance of the team and all of that. I got to believe in your mind, and I know you're all coaches are always looking forward and beyond this season. And I got to believe this kind of season like this and the performance by Caleb's got to help recruiting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I think the stadium that we built, the home, the schedule that we play in the greatest, the strongest league in the college lacrosse. We play a great non-conference schedule. We played only team in college lacrosse to play, the Final Four, 3 of the Final Four teams from last year. And proud to say we beat all 3.
Yeah.
So I think it's something that's been a long time coming. The talent in Ohio continues to get better and better. Khalif Hawker, I can talk about him now that he's signed from out of St. X. Jake Struck out of Liberty. Jake. Liberty won the state championship this year, and he's one of the best players in that football team. And probably could have played in football or lacrosse, and he's elected to come and play lacrosse with the Buckeyes next year. And I think, getting recruits not only on the national level, but getting the best from right here in the great state of Ohio is a top priority. And we're starting to do that, and we've been doing that. And I think that continuation is going to be key in the future moving forward. But there's no doubt wins like that, beating a Maryland on a big stage in prime time certainly helps. just not in that reflective mode quite yet. Like I said, we're kind of running on fumes right now, and just excited to get our next name and focus on the process of what's going to take to win this first-round game.
Hey, Coach, Garrett Haas last night, I think he had 3 goals and an assist. You know, you had, like I said, 5 guys with multiple goals and stuff. But, you know, nobody ever wins a game 0-0, right? But just the way y'all took that 5-0 lead, I would think you kind of felt the same thing Ryan Day felt when they jumped on Tennessee early, you know, in that playoff game in the stadium. But the way your team then held on, you know, through it all, because obviously Maryland, big-time program, came right back at you as the game went on, but y'all were able to keep that little distance. What did that just tell you about your team from the standpoint of not just your goalie standing up, but the other guys, you know, coming out with a couple of times instant goals, instant answers?
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, Maryland's got the number 1 defense in the country going into last night, and I don't think anybody had broken 11 goals all year on them. So it was a tall order, and they really kicked our butts at home a couple weeks ago, and that was a hard pill to swallow, you know. We got 4 of the top, I think actually 5 of the top 12 defenses in the country are in the Big Ten. So I think offensively it's humbling. And what I give my men a lot of credit is they just trusted us, and, you know, we presented them with a plan on 1 day's rest to say, hey, listen, we think this is going to put us in position. We tweaked our lineup. We made a couple changes to the midfield, and they trusted us. They said, man, this is what it's going to take to beat Maryland. We knew we just needed to take a swing. We did, and we were fortunate to get out to a hot start and then be able to really ride that throughout the game.
Hey, who do you ride most of all offensively and stuff? You know, you could name all the guys, right? But who just really kind of stirs the drink for you guys offensively in your mind?
Yeah, well, listen, the hammer is Alex. You know, he's hovering right around that 50 goal marker now, which is rare air for a Buckeye. I don't think we've had that in 25 years. So I think Alex is a pretty unique story, and this is a guy that we recruited as a defenseman that's only been playing attack for 2 years. You mentioned Garrett Haas. You know, he's a sophomore who's quickly turning into a big-time player. He seems to get better and better each week. We recruited him out of a small town, Lovejoy High School out of Texas. He told me early on, I said, Coach, I'm doing a mission when I graduate. He went to South Africa for 2 years, and we communicated only via email for 2 years. Then he came back, and last year it took him really a year to get his, get his body right, get himself back and acclimated for Big Ten lacrosse. And, you know, so 2 really unique stories in Garrett Haas and Alex Marnier, not necessarily high-end recruits. You know, one was a recruited defenseman. You know, one was from off the radar in Texas who went to South Africa for 2 years after graduating, and now they're really leading our offense. And so I think, you know, it's kind of unique in that respect. We have, I think, 18 states and 2 provinces of Canada on our roster. So we're truly a melting pot of personalities and people. And I think that's one of the things I love most about these men. It's just it's a really special group. And Gannon Matthews last night, that first goal of the game, he takes the massive hit. He's from Idaho, which is not necessarily a lacrosse hotbed, but he's been as good as any midi in the Big Ten in league play. And he gets 2 teeth knocked out and gets 7 stitches in his lip and refuses to come out of the game.
Wow, crazy. Hey, real quick, remind people again the game. When do you expect the game to be, and where can they get tickets?
Yes, sir. Yeah, so we expect the game to be home. It'll be Saturday or Sunday. Tickets will go on sale. We anticipate Monday at 10 a.m. For those that aren't familiar, our stadium holds about 2,800 people, so we expect those tickets to be sold out within an hour or 2 of them going on sale Monday morning. And, you know, our opponent being an NCAA game will get access at the same time. So I want to stress the importance of Buckeye Nation getting on there and buying those tickets so we can make that place a scarlet out and really welcome our opponents into a home field advantage.
Nick, thanks for the time. We appreciate it. Congratulations again, and best of luck going forward in this tournament coming up.
Right on. Thank you, man. Appreciate you having me. Take care. Go Bucks.
That was Nick Myers, OSU men's lacrosse coach, coming off of the Big Ten Tournament Championship, the first in Ohio State's men's lacrosse history, with that win over Maryland yesterday. Last night, 14-10. 9:30 is when they do the draw. They release the tournament field, the tournament draw, and that's on ESPNU, by the way, if you want to check it out there. Coming up next, we'll wrap things up. One of the most successful coaches of all time is stepping down or up. We'll talk about that next. Fan Sports Sunday on the Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
Ma, the meatloaf!
The Fan.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to partner with 10 TV and The Fan to launch Raise the Roof, honoring local heroes who are going above and beyond in their communities. Newman Roofing wants to recognize the volunteers, educators, first responders, and everyday difference makers who are making a meaningful impact in their towns to be recognized on 10 TV and The Fan. Stay tuned as we begin announcing the selected honorees who truly embody the spirit of Newman Roofing's commitment to community.
Hey Sports Cards fans, I'm Jeff with my buddy Adam, and we run Huggy Kissy Bear breaks on the Whatnot app. What's a card break? Simple. We open boxes of cards live, you pick your team, and we send you all the hits. With over 2,300 five-star reviews, we're all about you. New to card breaks? No sweat. We've got you covered with a sweet welcome package from us. Download the Whatnot app and follow us on Instagram and TikTok to view all of our past Sugar Bear hits. Huggy Kissy Bear breaks, where collectors win big.
This is Corey Sickles with Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors. We are an independent financial planning firm ready to help you make the right decision for yourself, your family, and your future. Visit safeharboroh.com to schedule a complimentary meeting. safeharboroh.com.
Hey folks, it's Austin Ward here with a challenge. Well, a challenge might not be the best choice of words, so let's say an opportunity. Take the opportunity to lose 40 by the 4th with Awaken 180. Has a different ring to it when you have a finish line, doesn't it? 40 by the 4th. Maybe you looked at the scale this morning and it read 230 pounds. How about it reading 190 by the 4th of July? Maybe the scale says 300. Wouldn't the 260 number be a little nicer on your eyes and on your knees? It's attainable if you have the same results we all had with Awaken 180. I dropped 40 pounds in just 8 weeks. There's no reason you can't drop 40 by the 4th and be feeling as great as I still do now. Ring Independence Day in healthy, confident, and most important, feeling happy. You reached your goal with the help of Awaken 180. So fire up your grill and grab your beverage of choice because the weight's staying off thanks to free support for life. 40 by the 4th. Set your goal and reach it. Reserve your consultation online at awaken180weightloss.com.
It's child's play to donate your car, truck, RV, or boat to Ronald McDonald House Charities of Central Ohio. They'll pick it up free of charge, steer you through the paperwork, and a hefty tax deduction rolls your way as you help provide a home away from home for families of seriously ill hospitalized children. For more information about donating your vehicle to Ronald McDonald House Charities, visit rmhc-centralohio.org or call 614-CARS-HELP. That's 614-CARS-HELP.
The Fan has been ranked as the second best sports station in America by our industry peers. Our heartfelt thank you is in order. But we're not doing it because we're better than that hillbilly Birmingham station that came in first. Thanks for nothing.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Sick of the long security lines and flight delays? Travel on your terms. Go RVing and get ready to save at RCD RV's Open House. From May 3rd through the 10th, take advantage of huge deals on new and pre-owned RVs. Our Delaware, Heath, and Pataska locations will feature exclusive sale pricing on all new and pre-owned travel trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes with special financing rates available, plus discounts on camping accessories. Come by today. We'll have you road ready by Memorial Day. Find unbeatable savings, unforgettable fun, and everything you need to hit the road at rcdrv.com.
Let's go to the floor with some late-breaking developments on the markets. Jim?
Up things are down, down things are up.
Sounds like things
You
are...
don't understand. Right is left, lemons are sweet, spaghetti is cold, the milk is warm.
Okay, but are you seeing anything that maybe smart-minded money people should know about?
Yeah. Apex Pros.
The pros who knows?
Probably one of the most stable things you can do is an Apex Pros air conditioner tune-up.
Air conditioner tune-ups, you say?
Oh yeah, Apex Pros knows most expensive summer breakdowns can be prevented by getting a tune-up now.
Yes, it's known that a tuned-up AC lowers energy bills, which is important to...
Oh, this is unbelievable.
What, big sell-off? Huge increase?
No, I spilled coffee on my new shirt. Anyway, tune-up save on energy bills, plus make your air conditioner last years longer.
Good to know Apex Pros keeps things stable and predictable.
That's on my pants, too. This is the worst day. This is historic. You know that.
No doubt about it. Columbus loves Apex Pros. The pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
Join the Reds and their quest for the coveted Ohio Cup in a weekend series against the Cleveland Guardians, May 16th through the 18th. On Saturday, May 17th, rev your engines for Reds Racing Night. To celebrate the Reds' participation in this summer's MLB Speedway Classic at Bristol, fans in attendance will receive a Mr. Reds race car bobblehead presented by Kroger while supplies last. Secure your seats now at reds.com/tickets.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Take the Fan with you wherever you go with the Fan app. Download it now, or we'll find you. You bring your lunch money today? Good, give it to us. This is Fan Sports Sunday.
Final segment of the program. I want to thank our guests, Mekka Don, John Gerber, Dan Hope, and Nick Myers today. We always have Mekka Don and Gerber on. Hope and Myers were new ones for us here, and it was nice having them on. Tim, Gregg Popovich has announced that he is going to step down as coach and then go full-time, moving up to team president. And Popovich is widely recognized one of the best coaches of all time. He's got 5 NBA titles to his credit. Lots of wins, very successful. And I don't mean to besmirch him when I say this.
But I will besmirch him, yes. But coming? Bob
Hill from Worthington was the coach before Popovich. Popovich was the GM at the time.
Right.
And Bob Hill led the Spurs to back-to-back first-place finishes in the Midwest Division. 1 year, they led the NBA in wins. 62 wins in the 1 year. And then after that, he had, I think he had 59 and 23 the year after that. First in the Midwest Division in both years, and they lost the conference finals once, conference semifinals the other. They started off the 96-97 season, Hill's third season, 3-15. They had David Robinson out for the year. Sean Elliott ended up missing a chunk of the year. He was hurt also. And so the team was gutted in a lot of ways. They started off 3-15. Popovich fired him, took his place. Popovich moved down, and then they get Duncan in the lottery. Now they have Duncan and Robinson. All of a sudden, the Spurs are great, and Popovich is a great coach. Bob Hill got screwed in that deal. I'm not saying Popovich isn't a great coach, but I think that it was wrong to get rid of Bob Hill when they did.
Well, as anybody will tell you, life is all about whimsy, man. And a lot of times you see other person's whimsy that decides people's fates or turns people's fates. And obviously that was a moment, big-time moment for Hill, but it was also a big-time moment for Popovich.
Yes.
And Popovich, I would say, took the opportunity and ran with it. And you can't argue about that now, right?
Right.
Meanwhile, Hill fell into the sort of the afterthoughts, or the background of big-time basketball, both on the NBA and the college scene, for that matter. So we all have those moments where it comes, but you have to say this: Popovich showed up with a plan in hand when it was his turn to run the show, and got the thing done. Won 5 NBA championships, with big time players. But who doesn't have big time players when they win the NBA championship? Right. So that's moot. Of course, he hasn't won one since 2014, and the bloom, whether I think he senses the bloom is off the pumpkin, but the bottom line is, once you get an opportunity, what do you do with it? Well, he ran with it.
Spurs haven't made the playoffs since the 2018-2019 season.
Right.
They went 34-48 this year. You got Wembanyama. We'll see if the NBA draft lottery is rigged, if they get the number 1 pick, and Cooper Flag goes there. Along with that matchup there.
That's where Giannis is going to end up at.
Giannis, think of San Antonio. I think they'll make the trade. They've got some assets to move.
They've got assets. They got picks.
Yeah,
definitely. I mean, and the core to kind of build that around with Fox, if they don't include him in a deal, or
they will include Fox.
Stephon Castle, and then
include him,
you're not including Wemby.
No,
that's a very solid core to build around.
It is. That'd be something else if they got him. If they got Giannis.
What's interesting though about Popovich, and I think most of the big time great NBA coaches have been this way, because there are very few of them that come along that are so confident in what they bring to the table that they will get in a star's face and tell him how things work. You know what I mean? Yeah. And Popovich was definitely that kind of guy, stand-up guy. You're always going to rub some people the wrong way, but that's what it's in what you'd call a players' league, man. He was not afraid to assert himself into the mix.
Yeah.
Of that's not good enough. Or, guys, what you just did there, what an abomination.
Yes.
And that's what I've always liked about Popovich. He also, I don't know if would want to have covered him on a regular daily basis, but he wasn't afraid, he wasn't afraid to doing the same thing with the media, telling them that was a stupid question. Type thing, and still, I guess, still does that. But
all that power came from winning.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
It
it all
always
came
does.
from winning. If he had sucked as a head coach, or that'd been great, but very mediocre, I don't think you have the ability to stand up in someone's face, and also I think he'd be a lot easier to cover.
Right, exactly. But how long do those guys last?
Right, I'm with you, yeah.
And, you always have to prove you can win. Bobby Knight had to prove he could win before you'd put up with the...
Right, all the shenanigans. Shenanigans is a very light word to use.
That's the clean word for
I know. Good
shenanigans.
Lord, you're right.
Bully tactics is what I call it.
He was a bully, no doubt about it.
I don't think Popovich was not afraid to speak his mind, whether it was basketball or politics,
Right.
which is an interesting combination. But finally, in the end, you do have to win. But, I admire him for what he did. I mean, Steve Kerr wore a Popovich T-shirt to a press conference last night or night before after a game, and talking about what he meant to him. And basically, in essence, just by observing him, you can see how you really should run an NBA basketball team. But do you have the guts to do that? Will you be given the rope to do that is the other thing.
All right. Thank you to all of you who tuned in today. By the way, we appreciate it. Thank you to Tim May. Thank you to our outstanding producer, Jacob Reimer, one of the rising stars in this industry. And by the way, make sure you stick around. Coming up next, we're going to have game day. And then after that, we will have the Reds and Nationals. They'll be going at Cincinnati next. This is The Fan.
Bo Bishop is a media legend. We have no idea where the other guys came from. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Spring weather has arrived, and we all know what that brings. Warmer weather and severe storms. Well, when bad weather hits, we all know it can cause leaky roofs or even damage to your siding and gutters. The Roofing Guys are your local experts in roofing, siding, and gutters and more, providing top quality through every roof every time. So it's just a small repair, full replacement, or even peace of mind. You need to contact my guys, the Roofing Guys, 614-626-7000, or visit them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. I know firsthand what it's like to battle through joint pain. After years of the hard hits and the wear and tear on the field, I thought pain, it was just going to be something I had to live with. Let me tell you, that's no longer the case thanks to QC Kinetics. For over 8 years, QC Kinetics has been leading the charge nationwide in non-surgical joint pain relief, helping over 50,000 patients get back to doing what they love, pain-free. Whether it's your knees, back, hips, shoulders, you pick it. If joint pain's been slowing you down, you need to hear about what Dr. Aaron Walkoff and his team in Columbus are doing. They're using cutting-edge regenerative medicine, natural biologic treatments with powerful healing properties to repair and restore damaged joint tissue. No surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. Just real results. The kind of treatment I wish I had access to during my playing days, and now you do. Imagine this summer playing around a golf, chasing the kids, and just enjoying a walk without the pain. Go to qckinetics.com/Columbus or call 380-2845-44. They now have offices in Grove City and Canal Winchester.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. What if you could bank that equity right now? With TrueHold, you can sell your home for its current value, so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. TrueHold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since TrueHold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit TrueHold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours, based on its current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's TrueHold.